Start this.
Yeah, let me just say, Azora looks sexy. You see her? Sheesh.
Well, I mean, okay, but I don't know what to say about that. But what you can do is you can gather around the table, and let me tell you all a Voden fable. To gather around for the tale of these survivors and the tale of the looming corruption, a jaded destiny. For this, my friends, is the infamous tale of the Valley of Dreams and the legendary tale of the Soulbound. Previously, our heroes were found in the forest of Jaded Dragon Valley, and it was here our heroes would do their last bit of preparation. After conversing with one another, they'd learned they needed more materials and resources to craft their final defenses. They looked to the skies and to see the Aurora Borealis pulse once more, and noticed a massive shadowy sphere protecting them for only moments. However, for now the barrier seems to last only for several more hours, so time is ticking. With that, they'd split off into two groups consisting of the Shifter Barbarian and Addydark, the Warforged Druid and Cleric and Zaman and Korra, the likes of the Sprite Blood Hunter and Gore, the Turtle Sorcerer and Oculi Blade Master and Agni and Azora, as these individuals would hunt down the likes of bears. However, this hunt would go awry as when they'd see an astral misform, and the corruption would launch a preemptive attack. They'd not do it alone, however, as a strange red lizard folk individual would rush out of the woods escaping, and with that, it'd be our heroes teaming up with this unlikely ally to fend off against the astral horrors. That said, survivors, listen now. With the battle successful, the war begins next session. But how will you do your final preparations in this session? Session 11 of Valley of Dreams. That being said, let's pick back up exactly where we left off. Let me send you guys to the map. Alrighty, where y'all go, gentlemen? And yep, should be good. Alright, so let me get you guys your little bit of ambience and all that stuff. Exploring, there was another thing, but I guess not. Oh. So, as we pick back up to exactly where we left off, we find our heroes breathing fiercely after a wild battle. Some more injured and exhausted than others, but regardless, you all stand tall, victorious. You glance over and you see as this sort of strange lizard folk walks out of the trees, holstering their bow, but still having their dagger at their side. After the individuals of Agni and Addydark finishing off this gnoll-ish vampire. As this is all happening, simultaneously you look over towards the sky of the Aurora Borealis as it shines brightly, and it writhes with power and strength. You see as it begins to pulse once more and swell from the sky, and more of these armies pour out of it. However, as they continue swelling, you look towards the sphere. It seems to be cracking, with every single astral soldier making their presence known. With that, it seems that this is it, my friends. These are your final hours you have to prepare. Use them wisely. That said, as this is all happening, what do the likes of all 6 of you say? What do the likes of you all do?
Whoever want to start. Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So after Agni finishes killing this vampire, since he's right behind Addydark, he'd come up behind him and say, "Addy, are you okay? It looked like he got a nasty bite on you."
This, nothing but a mere flesh wound, my people. Many of my folks, actually, my uncle would be quite proud to know that I bear a scar. I truly bear the mark now of my clan.
If it's just a flesh wound, then good. It won't hinder us. This should be considered a warm-up for what's to come soon.
if there are more of these vampires and creatures of the night, it'll be less than a warm-up. We'll have to turn up the heat. I appreciate your use of fire. Was this your first time striking these vamps? It was quite clever of you to light them.
No, but perhaps this lizard over here might have some insight to where these things came from, and if there's more. It could be another threat to us.
As this is sort of happening, you do see as the individual begins to sort of walk over and approach. Bloodied and injured, but they look towards the remains of this sort of null vampire, looking down, making sure it's finished and dead. But they look towards you and say,
Thank you for assistance. Would it have lived if not for all of you?
I'm glad you can appreciate what we did for you. Now, what is your name?
we'll see as they'll extend a hand and say,
Trog.
Trog, what are you doing out here? Agni will reach out his hand slowly.
That's it. As you do, you're able to shake and nothing happens. You sort of, for a brief moment, almost instinctually look down to see if they bear a mark in the palm of their hand, but it seems to be that they are without one. As you say, what are they doing out here? They'll say, actually, they'll probably look towards you.
Depends. Are you a part of them? The dynasty.
You're gonna have to be a little bit more descriptive. What do you mean them or dynasty?
The Zhao dynasty. Are you affiliated with them?
To my knowledge, and my comrades, I don't believe so. There is something coming with that dynasty, but right now is not the time to worry about that war that's approaching, as another one is soon upon us.
We'll see as they kind of relax, but then also sigh at it.
I see. I was escaping from them. If you can help it, stay far away. Do not head over past the valley. That is their territory. And either you will join them, fall to their might, or be accepted into their flock and have to bend the knee to them. Either both a fate worse than death, if not a fate that you will, or if death not being a fate that you will probably end up gaining anyways.
That area is no concern to me and the others at this moment. I assume the creatures that chased you, were they with them? My comrade here has quite a discern for these creatures.
Unsure, but probably not. I escaped many suns ago, but the closest or the last interaction with an individual was long, long ago. Claimed to be a part of the Zhao dynasty. A woman in black, spider-like body.
What happened to this woman?
Drog unsure, but controlled and manipulated me. The use of magic. He'll look down towards his dagger and just say, They forced me to do terrible things under their control. I ran as far as I could, until eventually running into, well, we'll look around and point towards pretty much the corruption.
He's pointing at the corruption like that we just defeated, or the ones in the air?
The one that you guys defeated.
So, you've been running for your life for seems like a while to escape some type of subordination through use of magic. What do you plan on doing now?
Honestly, it's me and my people are known for. Survival. Survive until the next day, and continue on.
Well, I'm going to be quite frank with you. You might not survive till the next day, as there's going to be a lot more of these creatures coming in a very short period of time. I'm assuming you are alone, yes?
Correct.
Well, you kind of have two choices. Go off on your own, hope to survive, and maybe more creatures won't find you. Or you can attempt to work with us and fight these creatures off. There's going to be more coming. A lot more. Choice is yours.
That said, they'll look over towards you all and, glance towards Gore for a moment and say, You make a good point. You all capable warriors. If I may I join the likes of you for the time being? Strength in numbers is all.
What are you good at?
I was used for a scout, or as a scout and more. Though it wasn't the greatest of introductions. If you need something taken, if you need something scouted out and found, reconnaissance, this is my specialty, and more. I am a hunter.
Do you have anything on you now to contribute to the cause besides your weapons?
I'm kind of understanding. One moment.
I find it funny you trying to run them pockets, by the way.
You'll see as he says, I have things, but I know that you will not be as bad as the others. And as soon as I tell you, you not kill me where I stand.
I don't want your things. I want to know if you can fend for yourself, or do we have to feed you? And if we wanted to kill you and take your things, we wouldn't be having this delightful conversation, now would we?
Persuasion check, Agni. Seven. You see, he's still hesitant about it. Go ahead, Adidark.
Can I roll here as well?
You can't roll, but you can add something to it to maybe give Agni advantage, or maybe try to roll a persuasion check yourself. But what do you say to add to the conversation?
I think right when he's like, hey, how do I know you won't take it away? I think to add to Agni's conversation, I think I would say something like, lizard folk? Why are we even having this conversation? You barely fended for yourself, and you're asking why we even want to keep you around. I think I'm trying to more intimidate him, by the way.
That doesn't really help him or help convince him more so of. I think it kind of still sort of. I think it kind of still kind of remains as it is. Yeah.
Okay, that's all good.
So you'll see this Trog, he's not like completely opposed to it or anything like that. It's more of the sense. He says this. I have materials. I have resources. Though not a campsite. I stored them away. I will show you them, but I will offer what aid I can if you can offer me protection, and I offer you mine. But I am not a fool. I am not that foolish. Once trust is gained, then we shall share resources.
If you stick around, you shall earn your keep, as everyone does here. We do not need your immediate resources. Time is short.
I can agree to that. Izzy nods.
Yeah, Agni's good with that. Can go over to everyone else in this bear.
All right. Well, that's kind of happening. Well, you guys are in the middle of having the conversation. Beforehand, Zaman, Gore, Cora, and Azora, what are you four doing off to the side?
Zaman is gonna ask Cora for help dissecting both of the bears. He says, Cora, do you mind assisting me with harvesting material and figuring out how this bear works, and then gathering food and fare from the other one?
Cora would nod and start following Zaman to approach these bears.
Easy enough. If that's what you guys are doing, then both of you can make, there's 2 bears, so you guys can make 2 survival checks apiece, or you can give one person advantage for 2 survival checks.
You cool with doing an advantage, Cora?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Can I cast guidance on top of it?
Yeah, you can. Go for it. So 2 survival checks with advantage each.
Control for advantage? Or is it alt?
Alt. 13 for the first one, add a d4. 16 for that one. Wait, was Zaman rolling the second one? Yeah, hold on.
Oh, my bad.
You rolled with disadvantage. We'll take the 14 plus, what do you got? You got 5, 19. You can add a d4 as well. All right, so yeah, plus 3. Okay. Between the likes of the 2 rolls, overall, you're able to get a decent amount of food from, you know, the one made of flesh and fur. The other one made out of a sort of almost cybernetics. From what you can tell, Zaman, it is a interesting sort of process. You kind of have, or during this time, you kind of have to sort of use a bit of brute strength. Between the likes of the 2 warforged, you're able to do so, but make just a general investigation check. I'll say Cora, assuming Cora is helping you with this, you can make it with advantage as well. But this is just to see. Yeah, this is just to see what you find out about this thing. With an 11, you look over towards it, and it seemed that something was oh, go ahead.
Can I add my Oracle's insight to it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
14.
14.
Sheesh. I'll give him my D6.
All right, go for it. Add a D6. Ah, man. So a total of 15.
15.
So, I mean, it's pretty good, all things considered. But you look around into this sort of bear, and not only do you see like things of like kind of canisters holding the likes of this strange oil to eventually kind of light it aflame in the use of casting quote-unquote spells, more so of it sending firebolts and mimicking spells, similar to the likes of kind of what your suit does, Zaman, but also kind of how Mao casts abilities, replicating magic itself. As you sort of delve deeper into it, you see and you have your memories, correct?
Yes.
It seems to be that this creature has the likes of a voice box. Now, similar to the likes of this sort of cactus cat, but not in the sense of like it being able to have recordings or anything like that, but it being capable of speech nonetheless. You are unsure necessarily like how much or how capable it is. You would have to try to dissect this entire thing, and you figure that you probably don't have enough time for that. Maybe you could throw it to Mao and see what he can do with it, but at this moment in time, is no way you're gonna be able to do this.
Yeah, I'll take the voice box with me to give it to Mao later.
All right, easy enough. Besides that, with a 15, I mean, most of this technology is kind of beyond you. It's similar to the likes of the or the sort of mechanical spiders from a long time ago, but the technology of it is very, very impressive. Nothing that you saw when you were ever in the mines back in the Forbidden Expanse.
Copy.
Also, Kane, you have received a D4 inspiration die from Ducky.
Copy.
That said, as you're all, or once you have sort of gotten all these sort of materials, you guys gain the likes of, oh boy, you gain the likes of 4 food resources from the bear, and you also gain its pelt. So if you ever need to make anything with leather or anything like that, or even bits of like leather or hide armor, you can do so with the bear pelt.
Copy.
Let me add that to you guys. Alrighty. That said, is there anything else you two do, or is that all?
That was all. Were we able to get any materials from the mechanical bear?
My bad. I almost forgot about that. From the materials that you would get, that was the first roll. You would get a total of, well, actually, right now you guys are kind of capped at materials, so you can't really hold any more at the moment.
Copy. What would it if we can't harvest the bear now? What would it take to like bring it back to the camp?
So you could probably like, if you could figure out a way, because none of you have bags or like horses or anything, and this is a big old bear, right? So if you could, in theory, carry this thing back to base, which is a long walk, all things considered, then yeah, and then you, let's say, were to, in theory, build something and then, you know, then scrap this thing apart, then yeah, you could do that. But unless you're figuring out a way how to carry this thing, it's gonna be here for the most part.
Is there anything we can do with that wagon to the right? I know it looks broken, but I don't know if there's something.
You can try to start repairing it if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, he'll do that. All
right. So, Zaman, you head over to the likes of the wagon, and you would have to take a short rest to try to start crafting and fixing this thing up. But if that is what you guys are doing, Cora and Zaman, I would say both of you make I would say either make a survival check or make an intelligence check as you're trying to, or actually, do you have Tinker's tools, Zaman, or anything to help build and, you know, craft stuff?
I have Smith's tools.
Smith's tools. I'll say you can use that. So make a wisdom check. We'll add your proficiency modifier. Assuming Cora is helping you, you can get advantage. And assuming you also want to add guidance, you can also add that.
Copy. What was the check again?
This is just a wisdom check, and we're gonna add your proficiency bonus. But while that's all happening over there, Gore and Azora, what are you two doing after the likes of the battle?
Zora's still feeling quite exhausted, so she's just going pretty much following Gore to make sure he's good, searching around the place, and she'll say, It seems quite strange, Gore. Addy Dark for so long spoke about the creatures of the dark. For a long time we had no clue what he was talking about, but here we are today. These things, it's just almost like they came out of nowhere. Do you think the corruption has some sort of mutation?
And just like that, Azora make the highest saving throw you've got.
Bro,
we literally just talked about this before the session.
This is how it begins.
Oh my god, hold on, let me...
Oh
my god.
Bunga.
Oh no!
Let me roll this D4 I just got.
You think they're gonna save you?
Oh no, Eddie. With a total of 13, is that where it lies?
Can I give him an additional inspiration?
It's only one inspiration per roll. Oh man. Alright, so the good news is, Azora, you are not that badly injured, because if you want to use second wind last session, shit, this could have been the end right here and then, before the battle even began. Alright, Azora, this is gonna be something. 2d4 plus 5 astral damage. You guys are level 3 now. You take a total of 9 points of astral damage, and I need you to pick a memory for me out of the little ones you got.
Oh my gosh. Let's see, what could she forget? Let's say she forgot. She forgot everything between the battle between her and Hannibal.
God damn. All right, you sure about that one? I don't know. You sure about that?
One is
yeah, you're right. That's deep.
I'm like,
orc fight, bro. Just get the orc fight.
What's going on?
The orc fight.
What's going on?
She forgot the first boss fight. She forgot the first boss fight against the orcs and stuff.
All right, that fades from your memory. As this happens, you look over at Gore as she's talking to you, and you see as her arm begins to slowly freeze over with an astral light. You know exactly what just happened here. At this point, you guys are used to it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, hilarious. Quick one, stop being so foolish. Hold your tongue. You need more rest.
You'll see her hold onto her head, and she says, "This, I don't know what done came over me. And she starts thinking about the devil that cursed her clan, and she's like, I think you're right. Perhaps I just need to take a bit of rest. I'm making foolish mistakes."
Quick one. I know your memory's been foolish, but Gore's told you time and time again. You're running yourself way too thin. Come with me. And Gore kind of like flies, and it's sort of like guiding her towards to this area over here, sort of by the thing. I don't know if this happened before Zaman and them got over there.
It would probably be like this would probably be like as Zaman and Korra are like still harvesting the likes of the bear, because it takes a little while. So you technically are here before them, but also before we go forth, Addy Dark, you received a D4 inspiration die from chat, and Zaman, you received a D4 from Zale earlier. And is that everything? Yeah, there you go. All right, you guys can continue.
And Gore would kind of like guide Azora to like sit at the edge of the wagon and be like, rest, quick one. Let's see if there are more supplies. Gore's been finding so much out here. Plus, there seemed to be more back there. For now, though, rest. And Gore kind of leads her to sit there and would search all the stuff that he, because that's what Gore does.
Yeah, she'll sit here and just pick at just still try to like look at the mark on her hand. But yeah, she's not saying nothing else.
That said, you look over and at this point, you can make a survival check with Gore. You can do it with advantage. If you guys are helping one another. If not, just straight roll. Also, Zaman, I just thought about something. Oh no, never mind. You're good. I was always wondering, did you use a shield or something like that? But nah, you don't.
Nah.
I was like, you can't really use a shield at the moment because you kind of got.
I'm gonna figure out a way. Trust. I'm gonna figure out a way though.
All right. Survival check 3 and an 8. Ugh. You look over most of it, and it seems to be that it's not much of anything kind of over here. You guys gain 1 soul coin and 1 material. Not much over. And you can't really carry any more material, so it's only really just the soul coin.
But could I bring it back with us if I had the wagon?
Yeah, assuming like you can just throw those sort of materials over there, and you gotta actually like start building. You guys are gonna need to start building a storage facility or something, like a place to keep all your supplies, or what is it? Or pretty much just start spending the materials on defenses.
Copy. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Got you.
Where the heck is?
Question: Can we build?
Go ahead.
Can we build a wagon, a storage facility onto the wagon, or much bigger thing?
Yeah, you could in theory, but it would mean that you guys can't actually ride inside of it. It would only be one person sort of leading it, and you also need somebody to lead it itself because you don't have a horse or anything. So it's gonna be good old manual labor, and I don't know about that one.
Copy.
I can always turn into a bear and tow it, but talking out loud.
That's true.
It's true.
Question: is the materials like we have different than like the metal that's here? So like, let's say we wanted to like reinforce the walls back at base with metal. Could you just do we just pull from our materials, or do we need like specific material?
For walls specifically, there's a way on how you'll be able to enhance walls. You're just not high enough level for it yet.
Okay.
Copy.
But walls will eventually. You guys won't be fighting with like sticks and stones the entire campaign. It's just for now. You're only level 3, so think caveman, or a slightly advanced caveman.
Yeah, that's why I was saying this metal is precious then.
It is precious, so you're gonna want to make sure to keep it.
I had one more question, but it just escaped me. But yeah, I think if we couldn't find anything else up there, Gore would only suggest. But one other thing he wanted to check was right over here, and I don't know if there was any way we could check that boat.
If you want, you can just sort of fly over, and all that stuff. But Zora, are you following Gore, or are you just sort of resting here?
Yeah, she's just following Gore around, just slowly, like I said, looking at her hand. I mean, I'm not gonna roll again, but she's just investigating it, but following him.
Survival checks for both of you, and while that's happening, Agni and Adidark, you were heading to the rest, or to the others. Which group are you heading towards? To the likes of Zora and Gore, or Zaman and Korra?
Neither. If Agni could, he wants to try to take some of this metal to break it down into like a powder, since we're taking a short rest. If he could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Also, hey Agni, make a perception check for me. 9. You kind of look over at this individual. It's just something that is like, interesting. And they do seem to be made of red scales of the sorts, and they seem also very, very injured, but it's just something, a mental note for later.
Oh, Agni has already written that down in the back of the shop.
That said, You're trying to sort of turn this into powder. This is going to be a Smith's Tools check. For you, it's just going to be a Wisdom check. We're going to add your proficiency modifier on top of that. Or actually, are you proficient with Smith's Tools?
I'm
no?
not.
You just
forgot my proficiency with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to. One of the things he used to. Ability check.
So if that's the case, then this is just going to be a survival check. The DC is a lot higher.
Survival? Okay.
Yep. 19, not bad. Is that the final roll?
If you need a D6, you can add it.
I do. No, I have inspiration. I'll use mine.
All right.
Okay.
Roll for
I
it.
had
You can make a roll.
From Max last section. 25.
25, good number. Between the likes of a bit of time, you trying to pull, or are you using the tools in this process? Like,
He would be using his tools.
yeah.
He would sit down and noticing that everyone is doing their own thing, hoping that we would leave soon. He's going to take some time and break out his smith tools and try to get some of this metal, since we might end up leaving it here and turn it into a powder.
That's Zaman and Cora, you do look over as you kind of laid out the little bits of salvage or materials of the bear. You do see as Agnes sort of grabs a couple of tools and starts sort of tinkering and messing with it. And Agni, as you're kind of doing this, it's very much a strange process, but as you're kind of going about it, it feels somewhat natural. You're unsure why. You feel as if you've done this before, but no recollection of really, well, you doing it. Bit of memories begin to start sort of fading and then sort of reclaiming themselves in your mind. And you see yourself for a brief moment in the Forbidden Expanse, using them and more, crafting something, but unsure what. That said, I'll mark that down. That is a one sort of tick, remembering at least your proficiency with Smith's tools. I'll make that onto your character sheet. But that said, that's what you are doing. I'm off to the side. Addy Dark, what are you doing over by Trog? Or are you going to somebody else?
I really wouldn't like sit around too much. I'd be pretty anxious. Battle, not. But I would turn to Agni and say I'm going to head back to camp as I walk by, and I will.
Are you sure? An hour's rest probably won't hurt you.
The hunt of the night it's overly excited me. It's filled me with nothing but fury of rage and fire. My people don't sit still. I have to keep moving.
If you have energy to burn, you could simply do laps. It probably isn't safe for you to go back on your own. Give it 1 hour, and if we aren't gone by then, leave.
I'll heed your advice, only because you are quite the vampire slayer yourself. And I guess I start dashing off in
That's exactly what I was going for, Vampire Slayer.
You know, dash off in bear form, and I just start running around.
All right. As you begin to do so, eventually, Trog's probably just gonna just go sit about and then start collecting his arrows and then just sort of tending to the likes of his wounds and more. They kind of like have to get out of your way as you begin to just start sprinting around for the most part. As you're doing that, you look towards the likes of Zaman and Cora. So, what was your survival checks from earlier to rebuild this thing?
I had 22 plus. It was. You told me wisdom that you were going to add proficiency, so
Yeah.
So it was 22 with the regular wisdom ability. I guess plus 2 for proficiency, and then a D4 plus 3, so plus 5, so 27.
God damn. All right. With the 27, you were able to complete this with the likes of Cora in a very, very fast sort of nature. You look over, and it seems to be that this is, though it's a damage, or like the structural integrity of this thing is kind of damaged, you use all the bits of material, or the sort of influx of materials that you kind of have, and you're able to repair this thing in no time. You do expend 2 materials, but it kind of makes up for it, as you can now gain 1 more right back with the likes of the things that you have already. That's do you guys do you eventually just go pick up the scrap metal, one of you, from earlier?
Yeah, he's gonna pick up whatever he can from the bear and try to bring it back to the camp with him.
All right, easy enough.
Is there, with this wagon, is there any way we can I don't know, carry some water as well?
Yeah, you could probably like throw well, if you have something to contain the water, like, you know, like a jug or something, then yeah, you could do that.
Okay, I'm not sure if anybody has a jug. I guess we'll just ask. Does anybody have a jug or something to gather some water? Since we're near the river.
The closest thing I remember was Gore had a water skin.
But he been filling that thing up every time he hit some water, so he definitely got it for all intents and.
I'll up one of the waters for now then.
Zaman would suggest everybody takes a drink of water before we leave. Everyone who needs it.
That's it.
So small thing, right quick, Sensei. I know Gore took a little bit of a beating last time. Like, and I don't know what the hell I was before, but I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no clue what I was at. But...
health wise?
Yeah. I had
did it reset you for some reason? Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I know you were like, you weren't near death, but you were getting pretty close to it. You and Chog were going through it. We'll probably say you're at like 10 health at the moment. I think that's I think that's pretty accurate.
Right. Cool. All right. Yeah, and then we back on us, or?
So effective, we just took a short rest effectively.
Yeah, this is like you guys going through the courses of this and more, gathering all your materials and stuff. As you guys look over to this boat, it doesn't seem to have any materials on it, but if you really wanted to, you could probably just sort of pick it up, and then again, if you had something to carry, what you do, you have a new cart, you can kind of throw it in there after you repair it and maybe use it for later, but.
So Gore would be like, quick one. We should take whatever we can. And yeah, go ahead and pick it up, try to make that work, and that's what it is. The last thing he would check is this area right here, and I think Gore would be good money.
Yeah, you already checked that area pretty much as you could. It's nothing really there.
Copy. So he would try to drag up the boat, and if we could toss it on the whatchamajabby, he'd toss it on there.
All right, looking at it, let's see. It's gonna take up a majority of the space on that thing. But you can definitely try to do it. Granted, you don't have too many materials, but you can, in theory, sort of, because you're trying to take up like all those sort of bear meat and put that on there, and then also the scrap metal onto the thing, and then also on top of that, a boat. Oof. 27 from earlier with the survival check. I'll tell you what, Zaman and Core, you not only were able to sort of rebuild this sort of wagon to its original form, but you guys were even able to have a bit of time to reinforce it to be able to carry a little bit more. That said, you'll be able to carry everything, but probably no more than that. No one else is riding on top of this thing. It's only the person leading it, and that's it.
Copy.
All right. So, while this is all happening, you guys can gain the benefits of a short rest and more. And once you guys are all done with that, drag your characters into the center of this area right here for me, as you all try to reconvene.
All right.
As everyone like comes together, because everyone's been off on their own, Hugh mentioned.
This right here is Trog. He will be assisting us as we head back to base. He's going to carry his own weight, and he's very useful, apparently, at scouting and getting information. Does anyone have any issues with this?
God just knows he fights better when someone. You did all right. Stay on your feet, scaly one.
His mom said, where did he come from and why was those creatures chasing him?
I can tell you it on the way back, but for right now, any issues?
No issues. I trust your judgment, Agni.
Azura? Cora, you're okay with this?
You see Azura kind of lost in thought.
And Cora just shrugs her head. Yes.
Drog, you're welcome to follow us. I hope you take orders well and pull your own weight, and we'll have no issues.
Right. Sort of holster the likes of his bow, and he'll sort of holster the likes of his dagger. We'll continue to follow.
The short rest, I definitely forget.
I got you. So you're gonna double click on your token. You're gonna look to the top left of the screen, kind of where the character image is. You'll see like S rest. You're gonna hit that, and then it'll ask you like if you want to roll any hit dice to gain some health. Now you're probably gonna want to do that because you only have 18 out of 40 health, so you're probably gonna want to be prepared for the big fight coming up.
So roll.
It's gonna ask you to like roll, I think, and you're just gonna hit the roll button afterwards. Yeah, there you go. All right, 4 hit dice. It heals you automatically, and then you can just keep hitting that. It'll tell you how many D12s you have available. You have a total of 3, but now you have 2 left. So you might as well pretty much just use pretty much all of them, to be fair. Well,
especially rolling that 1.
Yeah, there you go. That said, you're relatively back to full. All right. As this is sort of all happening, you
the bonus action on short rest, right?
Say it again.
None of the bonus actions get back on short rest.
No, not your rage. Your shifting does, but not your rage.
Gotcha. Okay.
That said, if the party is the party doing anything else, or are they heading back to the likes of camp?
On the way, we're heading back. On the way back, Agni will explain to everyone a bit of Trog's story and let him add anything else he'd like to as we're heading back.
He'd probably say this. Well, I guess to give the TLDR, if you want to ask questions for him or ask questions to him, then be sure to interject. But again, Trog basically just says that he was a part of the Zhao dynasty, and he escaped after they were sort of pretty much, he was a part of this sort of terrible rule. He was originally escaping, and some woman, well, not escaping, but he eventually decided to escape after some woman in sort of this black hair with the strange spider-like body. They seemed to manipulate them, control their mind even, and they forced him to do terrible things that he hasn't gone in detail with, but that's what he did. Eventually tried to run away and escape before, after a couple of suns later, ran into the likes of the corruption, ran into you guys.
The mind would ask, if you were mind controlled once, how do we know that you're not susceptible to it again?
A Warforged talking about mind control. This same mind control trick was played on Gore. It's what the night creatures do. They seek to prey nothing and take the weak-minded. He must have been...
So you must be easy prey for him.
Well, it was Gore. He had the blood rage. His mind was weakened.
I can't judge you, Scaly One. It happens to the best of us.
Right. But, that said, have you dealt with the likes of them before, too?
Gore's only heard of the night that the furry one talks about. If they all go down like this one, they'll just be notches on the belt.
Said, you talked about mind manipulation, being controlled. Look towards Gore when saying this. Did you see anybody else there? Specifically a woman, black hair, spider-like body.
Would Gore have seen her body like that, or?
You saw a woman with black hair. You and Addy Dark. Addy Dark getting a better sight of her, but Addy Dark didn't notice something about a spider-like body, though.
Well, I mean, I guess wouldn't it be the same as the chick I saw in the dream?
Nah. She didn't. The individual you saw in the dream, she had white hair, and she was complete. Well, she did have a spider-like body though, but she did have white hair, for sure. She wasn't the same individual that you saw. Well, I mean, nah, she wasn't the same individual that you saw in the forest though. They looked looked different enough for you to tell.
Okay, and then I guess in general, I guess I know I'm like amnesiac, so like, do I actually know any history on these that I could share with folks, or is it that?
You can. I would say Gore, Addy Dark, Zaman, not you. Azora, not you. Cora, you can make one with disadvantage, but all three of you make nature checks.
You said nature checks?
Yeah, nature checks.
You said Addy, me, and Cora?
Yeah, Cora with the disadvantage, and then Addy, or actually Gore, you have advantage, because you're the Hunter's Bane. Addy Dark, you have a straight roll.
Ugh.
4, 5, a 6, and a 3. Ugh.
Have to with the history, man. We write books out here, bro.
Oh man. Between all of you, yeah, you're kind of unsure about much of any creature with like a sort of spider-like body like that. Never really heard anything much about them.
Cora can't tell the difference between a rat and a bird.
Terrible. Gore will be like, scaly one. Gore's unsure. He saw something. Someone. They tried to get away. They weren't too far from here last I checked. They've gone south. But I don't know if it's the same one.
He'll look towards Agni and ask. Actually, did you ever introduce yourself, Agni? Like, say your name?
Nope, he never asked.
Mm-hmm.
He asked Trog for his name, but he never gave him his.
Mm-hmm. He probably wouldn't ask now. He would just say, and looking towards you as you're walking, you mentioned another attack soon. How soon?
Agni looks at his hand. He kind of looks up at the sky. Hard to really say. We're very limited on time. I would say we need to get back, kind of sort everything we've had, and then kind of go from there. There's no telling when the attack will come. But, well, the days have been all one and the same. Could be minutes. Hopefully we have hours.
Right. We'll look towards Gore and say, we can worry about her then later. After this thing. I've never seen anything like this before.
I was all the way on mute. I hate myself for it. Gore was saying that, if Gore finds her, he will definitely crush her. No one messes with Gore's mind. Gore points at his head.
That's it.
Oh, I think he was really hoping you were gonna do the mellow when you pointed at your head. No.
God.
No.
That's it. Anywho.
The New Yorker.
Oh man. Does anybody have anything to ask Strog before you guys get there, or nah?
Nah, but Zaman would have a side conversation with Cora while we're walking.
Easy enough.
It would say, Cora, you remember that last vision that came through my palm?
Remind me.
Well, it's something in particular. There was a warforged similar to us. He had something on his neck. I couldn't read it, but I believe it was in Elvish. Did you see that?
I don't think I was paying too close attention to it.
Understood. Maybe we can ask him about it next time we communicate with that group.
That's it. Someone, or what is it? Someone's just asking, hey yo, did someone send them coordinates Valley of Dreams way? Anybody, please.
Robin, I've been asking for a minute.
Bro, it's never gonna happen, bro. Never gonna happen.
Man, you ain't gonna never see us talk about the C word. Going straight there.
Yep.
Oh man. As said, alright. There's nothing more. Then eventually, after a bit of time, you carry the likes of the... Oh, also, who is carrying the cart? That's a big point that we forgot to mention. Is 2 people doing it, or is it just 1?
Well, I thought Addy was gonna be a bear and pull it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gore is gonna help him regardless. So
Zaman would hope.
because it'll look funnier there.
Alright.
Somebody wouldn't trust Gore pulling this big cart, so he would have helped.
Alright. Saman and Addy Dark. Actually, oh, go ahead.
Addy wouldn't pull it. That was me talking out of the character. He wouldn't pull it just like at whim. He doesn't like contraptions.
Alright, then Zaman would pull it. It's fine.
Alright. For anybody, help pull the cart. This will affect how fast it takes you guys to get there. But make a athletics check for me.
Agni would help in the terms of like a manager role. Not actually physically helping, but pointing out,
Man,
to use your legs.
Can I give myself guidance on it, or am I working too hard to give myself guidance?
I mean, guidance only lasts for a minute, so probably not. It is longer than a minute.
You say athletics on this?
Yeah, athletics. 10, 12, 20. Yeah, sounds about right. So as Gore is looking as if they're trying to help, pulling with all their strength that they can, it's mainly Cora and Zaman kind of doing that. Kind of pulling in more. But eventually, after a bit of time, you guys get to the likes of your campsite. Oh, the map is messed up. Let me fix the lighting. Boom and boom. And let me also drag a new individual. Alright. So, as you guys begin to slowly return, you see as Hannibal, Philo, and Mao, they seem to be sort of resting, kind of pretty much amongst this sort of campfire waiting your return. And for the most part, it doesn't seem like anything or too much seemed to happen here. They seem to just be resting and waiting patiently. That said, as you return, Hannibal will look over and say, well, look and eye Trog for a moment and look towards the rest of you. Seems that you brought another individual with you. I assume they are friendly.
Someone to help in the upcoming fight. His name is Trog. He was chased by our enemy.
Very well. Pleasure to meet you, Trog. I am Hannibal. What's that? That said, the rest of you all begin to gather into the lights of the camp. You guys can move your tokens and more, and do as you wish inside. Trog will kind of just find a simple sort of area in the woods and begin to kind of just sort of stake his claim where he can, for the most part, and start residing over here. He seems to be just sort of looking over and sort of checking his things and making sure that he's got what he's got. Eventually, Mal would probably walk over to the likes of you, Agni, and try to get your attention. Hey, Agni, you wanted me to work on this this little cat thing, right?
Yes. Were you able to do anything in the time we were away, Mal?
Yeah, it didn't take too long. I was able to let me climb down for a little bit, and you'll see as you.
I hope you didn't strain yourself. You seemed to knock yourself out last time you worked on something.
Oh, no. That was just with the old headset and whatnot. Yeah, this was pretty easy work. It just needed something to sort of charge it. I had a spare mana crystal, so I just sort of threw it in there, and then it seemed to work.
Perfect. What did you find out about this thing? Apparently, it's been with me for a while, but I can't remember.
Well, I mean, it decided to play a couple of, well, it seemed like it was recording something like your voices. I didn't want to sort of intrude too much, so I didn't really listen to it. But it apparently had a bit of information. Are you not aware of it?
Frankly, we haven't had much time to sit down with this. If we have a spare minute or two, be happy to play it, see what is on there. Maybe we can learn some information on the enemy.
I mean, if you're free, we can do it now. I don't see any harm in it.
Sure. Let's see what's on it.
All right. So, oh boy, time to go grab this thing from a long while ago. Give me 1 second, fellas. All right, recording.
I moved my token late out because I was coming over to Mal to give him that voice box, but I would have just waited patiently while Agni was handling his business.
Easy enough. You see, as he's kind of getting ready to do that, he sort of takes the cat and begins to sort of land down onto the ground and begins to sort of look at each and every single one of you, eyeing all of you before sort of sitting down. Eventually, Mal begins to kind of unscrew the cat's sort of cactus neck, revealing the legs of the mechanical gears inside of it, revealing its true nature. As this happens, you see as he begins to sort of flip the switch on and play the likes of what's ever on this thing. All right. A moment, please.
Little one, if you want jewels, just say you want jewels.
The crystals seem to be reacting to what we say. Maybe we're close to finding a solution to this problem.
It's best we rest here. This wasn't even our main place to journey to. I can only imagine what's waiting for us ahead.
Listen to the quick one. We rest now.
And has your spirit talked to you before?
My spirit has talked, but it's been a very long time. Ever since I found my true God, my spirit and it's just we don't always get along.
So you have a spirit and a god fighting for your favor. How interesting.
I heard distinct chattering. I can't tell if it's something to be alarmed about or perhaps maybe a ritual going on. Either way, it's definitely coming down.
And eventually, you see as the recording begins to sort of sputter out. And as this happens, you guys are able to look past and see and witness all the sort of pretty much the adventure of what you guys went through, the likes of the Forbidden Expanse. Agony, for the first moments, you begin to see it, and you find, or you look towards yourself, unsure of all these memories before eventually something begins to spark, something begins to come clear. You gain the bits of your memories from Sands of Sin. That said, anybody who is watching this recording, depending on how long you would like to watch, you would gain a majority of your sort of memories from Sands of Sin and more. But nothing past from when you entered the tavern from long ago.
Gore would be like, Gore would yell, you got the little cat thing working again. Does that help you remember?
Azora said, I heard myself, but I do not remember those moments in time. It was sort of like rewatching a dream that felt familiar, but at the same time, it was like me watching me. Very strange.
Zaman would say, Azora, you've always struggled with your memory. What happened to the journal you used to carry around?
She would shrug and say, I don't remember a journal so much. And yeah, she would kind of look like puzzled and confused. Like she clearly saw herself with one, but she just doesn't remember it.
Zaman will walk over and say, you used to write daily, and maybe even hourly in your journal, and you used to reference it on a regular basis so that you wouldn't forget critical information. Maybe you should try to do that again. Maybe it will make you feel more like yourself again.
She said, perhaps that is something that would help. And then she puts her one hand on your shoulder and she says, appreciate it. And while it is very interesting to see you as something other than a machine, old friend.
You see Zaman, because he's been a Warforged for a while, and seeing what he saw, he doesn't even recognize himself anymore, and he just kind of puts his head down and just like walks away.
Sensei, real quick, does Agni actually have like those memories back? Because he got it like twice.
So it would only be, it depends on how long he wants to sort of, so you can kind of at this point, depending, you can pick and choose what memories you want to remember, as you basically have the cat to kind of reference all of it. So if you want to sit here for hours just kind of listening and watching things back, you kind of can. And it's more so of you just sort of hearing bits of things that just like sound faintly remember. Eventually you just have sparks in your memory that begin to sort of make the pieces connect and become clear.
I think Agni would get lost a little bit in some of these memories at first, and then kind of quickly, like probably when Zaman starts to walk away, shake it off that this is no time for like reminiscing, as some of like his training starts to kick in, and he thinks, I can't be taking a break right now.
Hannibal will walk over and mention and say, if I may, it seemed to be that there was another individual on that recording. A hooded man, dark-skinned. Is he not with you?
That was our companion, Jade. When we all first woke up, we set out to find him, thinking he would be somewhere nearby. There's been no traces of him since.
I hope the Blessed One is doing well. He definitely left the blessing he had with me.
And Porter kind of motions to the longsword he still has on his back.
Oh. The good news is you do remember him, or he was not taken by no point to the sky. That is good. They seem at least somewhat close to you all, so hopefully they make a return. You find them wherever they may be.
Phoenix is guarding that one. God knows that.
That said, while this is all happening, off to the side, Addy Dark and Cora, what are you two doing?
Question. Do I know the location or the the location that was on the Robith's neck, the tattoo?
Yes, you do.
Is that something you told me, or?
Well,
nah.
I mean, in D&D, if I was to tell you coordinates, that wouldn't mean anything to you. So you just, in character, you can just write it down. You know the coordinates of wherever it leads. Well, and also the other thing as well, you guys are going to need to figure out either finding a map of Voden itself, or figure out a way to actually, you know, track coordinates and more before they become truly useful. So unless you know like a navigator person like that knows this place like the back of their hand or something that could probably be able to read coordinates and get a general idea, you kind of are out of luck at the moment. So you're probably going to want to find somebody for that one, or get a map.
And is that the same thing that I had on me? Or is that something different?
What do you mean? Oh, the same thing that you have on you? Yeah.
Okay.
You and Zaman have the same thing on you.
Oh.
Or wait, hold on, I got that fucking wrong. Actually, no, you guys don't. You guys are different because different things happen for you guys. Yeah, it's all God. That's a whole different fucking thing.
I was about to say, word?
Nah. Yeah,
farmers here looking at it the whole time.
Nah, farmer's a little bit of a different case. I got that confused for some reason. Nah, farmer is yeah, that's a whole story.
Got it. Okay, so my character knows it, but they don't know the exact location.
Until they're able to or figure out how to read coordinates or where the coordinates are, like with a map, yeah, you don't. You just know it's a thing, and you know kind of where they lead.
Cool.
All right. So that said, Cora, are you doing anything at this moment or nah?
Nah. I can't even see my toe.
Oh, can you not? Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna move you from over here. We're just gonna plop you down, like probably right here.
Okay, yeah. Cool. She will just go back over here and did she hear the whole recording thing?
Yeah, if you wanted to. If you want to join the Lex of the party to listen in and see what was going on, you could have. If not, you just want to sort of train, then no.
She would have, well, let's just say that she heard it. And, she's gonna think, like, compared to those voices, because, she's a Robith now, so, like, things are starting to play in her head, and then lately she's been hearing, like, certain things, so she's trying to figure out, like, what's real and what's not. But, like, as Agni said, it's about worrying about the next preparation now, and she'll deal with that when the time is better.
One thing before you do, make an insight or an intelligence check, Cora.
Insight or intelligence.
19. As you begin to
damn.
hear her voice, and you all know what I mean when I refer to as her. When you hear her voice again, it definitely seems different from the thing that you're kind of dealing with right now, Cora. Just the way they sort of carried themselves compared to what you've seen between the likes of Zaman's visions and just everything else. They almost seem like two completely different people. Regardless, information for another day, unless you want to go on with that. But
Nah, I'm good.
easy enough. Oh man. That said, Addy Dark, what are you doing off to the side? You're muted if you're trying to say. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Nah, okay.
I think to myself, I'll just be in deep thought and shooting out a quick prayer to the Fire God for helping me, take out another creature of the night, and so on and so forth. Overall, I am definitely just kind of chilling in the tree in a more of a scouting kind of vibe. I feel like the battle definitely always keeps me on edge, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That said, as you're kind of saying this prayer to this fire god, are you expecting anything in return, or just saying it to them, thanking them, and just keeping it moving?
There we go. I think that just reciting, just a little chant that perhaps he knew from his clan, kind of as like a victory, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a deep part of his people is this religious side. So he does try to keep it,
simple as that.
For sure.
Yeah. That being said, as you finish saying this sort of chant, begin to notice something strange. Though you were able to sort of shake it off for the majority of this time, you look over to the palm of your hand, and you do notice, as you've always had this mark, but you do notice on the palm of it the symbol of this sort of white circle with another circle inside. You do see as it begins to actually glow for a brief moment, begins to sort of shine with this bright white light for some strange reason. You look over and up towards the sky, and you, at this point, you've gotten a sort of strange sense of, and gotten somewhat familiar with the likes of the corruption, sort of nature, the sort of scent it has from whenever the mist begins to form, and more. But as you begin to glance out towards it, and you glance towards the mark on your hand, though it has similarities, it feels as if almost a sort of force that's kind of like an antithesis of it. I'm going to DM you a couple of things, V. And you can keep that information to yourself, or you can share it as you will.
Okay, will do.
That being said, while that's going off onto the side, Zaman, were you trying to do something?
Yeah, he wanted to do things. One, he wanted to talk to Mal about this voice box he got from the bear, and then number two, did I make the metal spikes that I was making for spike growth? I can't remember if it was all fixed. I remember that we had talked about it last session.
Yeah, no, that was able to make roll. I'm trying to remember campaigns. I don't remember entirely, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna roll a D100, 5th or a high or low.
High.
All right, if I roll above a 50, then you already have made it. If not, then you'll have to just roll for it again.
Okay.
99.
Ooh, boy.
All right, you got it. That's you do have, in fact, the materials and stuff like that for spike growth and more.
Ric Flair. Ric Flair. Woo.
It could have been a 0 real quick. Cool. All right. Yeah, he was just coming to Mal and saying, Mal, I ran into a creature. It was metal in base. Remember what we discussed about potentially controlling it? Unfortunately, we killed it before I had the opportunity. But I did find this voice box. Do you know what it is capable of?
Well, I am... I mean, besides it just being able to record stuff, not really. I mean, I never really used it really back up into the tree up there, and it'll point to the giant tree in this, well, the center of everything. I mean, granted, it's not like the most advanced thing, so I don't really know what much more I could really do with it. You guys got any ideas what we can do with like something that can record stuff? Not really sure.
Maybe we can record our next communications. When I speak through my hand.
I guess so. Any reason for it specifically? I guess just to document it or something?
Yeah. In case something is said and we need to recall it. I don't know. It's only voice, correct? So is that visions?
Yeah, it's only just the voice.
Yeah, we could probably use it for that, or if we needed to record information for some other cause. Or could you make it mimic a sound?
Let me see. That's not too far out of the realm of possibility. I can make it mimic a sound. What type of sound are you talking about?
Something that is terrifying. Maybe that will strike fear into unwanted visitors.
That I could probably do. It would take a little bit of tinkering and time, but I think I could do that. I'm not gonna lie. That would be quite terrifying. You just see this sort of this little guy sort of running around and then unleashing a horrific eldritch horror of a screech into somebody's ears. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, and maybe it can scare and potentially even, if it's high pitched enough, no, that might cause an issue with us as well. Because I was thinking it could deafen as well, but maybe just scare should be good enough for now.
I can work on it. It'll take me a bit of time, but not really the most scary of individuals, so unless you guys want to record something scary of you screaming or doing something, then this is gonna take me a while. He looks towards Gore and thinks about saying something, but then doesn't.
I mean,
Zora looks towards Hannibal and Agni, and then doesn't say anything.
Zaman would say, well, I guess Gore could scream crush. That could be quite terrifying. God.
I think as soon as that happened, I think they disconnected.
He
Could be
dropped
wrong.
off.
I think so.
This is his moment right here.
Yep,
This is his
he
moment.
immediately dropped off. Gore was never to be seen again.
This is his moment.
Oh man. Tito?
Are you back, Tito?
They're muted. I give him a second. That said, while this is all happening, is anybody else doing anything?
I think eventually, after talking with Mao, Agni would have left to go to make sure Trog is doing fine and settling in.
That said, you look over. You can move your token. You see as Trog is in the processes of crafting something, you look over and he seems to be making like a sort of trap, if you will, just a snare. Sort of crafting and trying to sort of stitch it together. Yes. Oh, also, I didn't ask this earlier. I meant to. I'm not the brightest, but, what is your name again? What do you call, or what do you go by?
You can refer to me as Agni. And
Agni.
as long as you can follow directions, you'll do just fine. You don't need to be the brightest to survive.
I see. I was making a snare. I looked around the campsite, and it didn't seem that you were in a lacking food, but why have to go hunt when you can have this thing, and it'll point to the snare, hunt for you?
That is true. What do you think you could catch with something like that? It looks like small game, perhaps?
It's not big. Perhaps a simple bunny, or a small creature like a squirrel. But there hasn't been many creatures or animals recently. Only the robotic ones.
Most animals we tend to find seem to be larger, but I'm sure it can pick up something.
We'll have to see. You'll see as he begins to set it up. And he sets it up kind of in this area, like in an area where no one's going to kind of like, mess with it at all. But as he begins to return, so Agni, if you could explain who are all these people, if you could give quick rundown.
It's hard to fully say. Some of us are still finding ourselves and learning more within the last few minutes, it seems. Seems we've been together for a while, some of us longer than others. But we have woken, lost some of our memories, and we banded together to find out why. Who we were in the past doesn't bother me, and it seems like a lot of them don't really care for it as well. It's what we're going to do with our future seems to matter.
I see. Very well. That being said,
You've mentioned before you did things in your past unspeakable. It's not too much. Do you remember those things? What were they?
Agni, make a persuasion check. $15. He will begin to say, I do remember. It's terrible. It's terrible. Let me explain. This dynasty. They'd slay people who not followed their destiny, as they would refer to it. Those who did not slay the starry ones were slayed for cowardness. I remember upon the first couple of suns there, the people who were born were checked there upon the mountaintops. They'd have destinies decided then and there. If you ever shifted out or off that path, you were exiled and or killed. The people they were brainwashed out of some force or maybe just pure fear. The woman I mentioned before, she used magic of the sorts, foul sorcery, and controlled me to kill some of these innocents. They did not follow their destiny. They forced me to do it. I could not deal with it, so I ran as far as I possibly could before them, or away from them. But this clan of people with eyes, powers residing into it, ever alert, they hunted me down and hunted anyone else who tried to escape. I believe you refer to them as oculi.
Interesting. You were forced to do these things, and you got away. How did you get away, if you don't mind me asking?
Once, well, to be quite frank, I was lucky. I wasn't the only one who was manipulated with the magic. In the time that it ran out, I played it off as if I was still under her control. But once the time was right, when the moon was shining, I tried to run and escape. Once I was supposed to go out and scout, I ran to the Blood Force. Never returned.
Could Agni insight check that?
Sure thing. Make an insight check. Natural 19, total 20. He seems to be telling the truth.
Agni will nod his head. Sort of feeling a little bit of compassion. Not much, but just a smidgen of it. He'll say to him,
as I said before, it doesn't quite matter to me what you've done in the past. These unspeakable acts seem like minor things. What matters to me is how you act around us. Up there, that tower might be best suited for you, someone with a bow. We don't know which direction this enemy will attack, but it seems to be anywhere could be an option. You stay perched up there, you could probably cover all of us. A good spot.
That's just fine. I may do that. You need me to alter and change. I am known to skirmish and more, being able to weave in and out of the battlefield when it comes to it. If you need me to grab things on the way, or traverse give things between the likes of you, whether it be information or actual items, I am also quite capable in doing so in a fast time.
That's good to know. Appreciate that. being able to transfer items between groups can be quite helpful. Oh, one more thing. Consider it some form of payment for helping you. I need one of your scales.
What?
Your scales. I need it.
look at you, just look towards the scales and I'm confused. Why?
To put it simply, I need it for a magic spell. Would you like the details? Or can I have the scale?
Even though you're not really trying to intimidate him, but just make an intimidation check, Agni. 17, wisdom, insight check, he's alright at that. 18, he'll look at you and say, though I may not understand magic of the sorts, I would like to know why you need my scale in the first place, so do explain.
Quite simply, I'm out of materials to harness some of my magic.
As he does that, he will kind of produce flame in his hand.
I control a large amount of fire. With one of your scales, I'll be able to make something like this, much greater. Cause searing pain for our enemies that approach us. As you can see, I've constructed this grounds with the purpose to funnel people. Funnel them in a line makes it a lot easier for killing.
You are sure my scale will be able to do that?
Yes.
He did lose a couple before. Addition, decent enough. Alright. He will sort of look into his sort of bag where you kind of picked up the scales from earlier. And just sort of pass it over to you. He looks down towards it, and he does it begrudgingly, but eventually he folds and passes you the red scale.
Appreciate it. Your assistance will go a long way to support the cause. Make sure you watch. In the fight, I'll show you what your scale is capable of.
Very well. We'll just sort of nod, and then at that. That being said, Gore, meanwhile over here, Zaman was calling out to you, or I believe it was Zaman calling out to you.
Yeah, it was small technical difficulties, as you can tell. I sound fine?
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Trying to
Yeah, I mean, yeah. With the entire, market on your head, I can understand. Is that the latest contraption? What is that?
It's the old man way. I got look at it and come through with like a old phone. I had to crank up myself.
Respect the quality, man. Respect the quality.
Can you pick up AM and FM radio too on those, or
hey, man,
what else you get on
sound better? That's the question. I don't sound like I'm talking through a sock like you. That's all.
You sound like you sound like an aviator now. You sound like an aviator right now, bro.
Either way, can we
take it off? Take it off.
So Zaman will say, God, are you able to yell, crush, with all your might into this voice box?
Yell, crush? Gore barely yells, but I can try my best.
Channel that inner Oni of yours.
So Gore would get up to it, and is it right into the cat?
I think it's by Mao.
Yeah, Mao kind of has the cat, and he's he looks over at Gore as he's preparing to, yell. and he's just going to slowly cover his ears and just say, yeah, just yell as loud as you possibly can.
All right. And Gore gets uncomfortably close to the cat.
You're gonna adjust your headset for a second.
Uncomfortably close to the cat, and he's gonna be like, like Phoenix taught Gore, he will crash. Now I'm not gonna be able to talk for a week, but you know, that might have sounded good.
Zaman will say, "God, that was absolutely terrifying."
You see, Azora was kind of like falling asleep, but you see she immediately jumps up and grabs the hilt of her blade, like ready to fight. She thinks they're under attack.
Philo, who was just sort of blowing bubbles and shit while sleeping, just looks over and is just like, what's going on? He kind of nearly trips up and everything is like, wait, what is...
Gore does his best. Phoenix truly blessed us. And he kind of like pets the cat, but it's really like a wild pat. You get what I'm saying? Like, he is definitely doing it inappropriately.
That's safe. Good.
Zaman will look to Mal and say, now just how far do you think this will reach, and where do you think we should place it, Mal?
Well, as much as my ears would hate me, I'll see. It's pretty loud what Gore has now, but I'll see if I can try to enhance this even further. Try to really push the limits of this little device and gizmo. But I mean, with a bit of time, and if I was at my original shop, I could probably just, make this even like a sort of screeching call you could probably hear for a couple of 100 feet, if not a mile. But we don't got that time.
Sounds like something we may want to look into in the future. Maybe when we expand or get more materials.
Yeah, in time. That said, while that's sort of happening, Zaman, you look towards the likes of the palm of your hand and you see as it begins to glow once more. Oh boy, here we go again. At this point, you'll look over as Hannibal begins to look towards, and you kind of are all used to it at this point. And you'll see as he begins to look up and glance towards the red triangle that forms in front of your very eyes. Good enough. As this begins to happen and occur, you all look over and you see as multiple individuals begin to form in the likes of this response. That said, does everybody gather forth, or mainly Addy Dark, do you stay off into the trees, or do you join the rest of everyone else? Muted if you're speaking.
I would stay in the trees. I mean, can I not see with vantage point? Is that not a thing? Can I not,
you can. It's just more you can't really hear what's going on.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that visual is fine for me. If I see anything go down, I'll go.
Easy enough. All right. Well, that's happening. The first vision begins to look towards the likes of several individuals who seem to be surrounded by multiple other entities. That said, anybody looking inside, make a perception check. This is with sight. 12.
Just one of those days.
Don't you have advantages, Aura?
No.
Not when exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
Oh.
I'm tired.
I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired, boss. Oh, man. 10, 12, 18, 19. Alrighty. And then, so 18 and 19, you would see, as the figures are a little bit more clear this time, and you see the likes of a bearkin, or two bearkin-looking individuals, Goliath, an elf of the sort, or two elves of the sorts, a tiefling, the likes of several wolves, one being massive in size, but also two others seeming to be mechanical wolves, similar to the ones that you all fought at the beginnings of this journey. Look around and they're able to see several individuals. One in particular begins to intrigue but also somewhat terrify you, as they seem to be an individual, their skin completely made out of an astral light, their hair sort of flaming but also still coursing with colors of blue, greens, and purples and more. It's unsure of what all that is about. You look over and you see, as one of the bearkin look over towards the mark and look towards you, and you all see the likes of this individual talking. The things that they say, brief, direct, and to the point. You all hear this. Let me turn this on. All right.
And say, we do travel with Lika. She's not here right now, but we will pass along your message.
As soon as that begins to sort of occur and you begin to hear the likes of this words, you'll look and see as Mao's eyes go wide for a brief moment in time, and he begins to almost bounce up with a little bit of excitement for a second and look towards you, Zaman, and say, wait, they actually have her. Wait, that was her then. The one that you saw before. That was her.
Zaman would say, it must have been. Mao, do you want to say anything to her? This is your opportunity.
You think I'll be able to speak?
I think it's worth a try. I will speak with you as well, just in case. It can only work for me. But it seems anybody in the area can speak, not just the person who has the mock.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd even really get this far.
Just say what you feel. Whatever you've been wanting to say for as ever long as you've been wanting to say it.
Annabelle will mention and look over. Though, be careful. One thing to note is the messages aren't infinite. They have an allotted time. The more you say, the less we have further information. It's important. This is important, I know. But also, I think we can all agree that information and knowledge is important. And what we share and what we don't, especially in times like these, and I'll point to the likes of the sky, is paramount. We'll see as Mao begins to nod, and then, oh boy, he is going to step up and say, and just kind of ask Zaman to sort of help him out here. Zaman, thank you. But, here, you wanna lead us off with this?
Yes. Zaman would say, we travel with Mao. He has a message for Lika that he would like to communicate to you.
Well, I'm not really sure how this thing works, but, Lika, if you're hearing, this is your father. This is Mao. thank goodness. I've been looking for you for a long time. Where are you? Are you okay? Are you safe? Is everything all right? Are you injured, or did the likes of the monks, and Bayani, did they treat well? Did everything go okay? I haven't been able to speak to you in so long. Please, I just want to hear your voice. One last time. Make sure you're okay. And you'll see as eventually Mao begin to sort of look, waiting for a response, but then realizing he won't receive one now. He'll have to receive one later.
It's funny. I'm just thinking of how Ascent and like Secrets is just gonna hear that. Like, see something.
Oh man. They're gonna just see this in the middle of battle, baby. Ooh. All right. That's all I got. We'll see as he backs away.
Zaman would pat Mao on the back and like trying to reinforce that he did a good job.
Said, as this begins to occur, you do look over and see as the visions begin to slowly shift and change. And they change from the likes of these individuals in this sort of frozen hellscape of the Azure Taiga to the likes of, well, the other hot hell of Odin, the Forbidden Expanse. You see as several bits of the individuals begin to crowd around the likes of this mark. But you look towards Zale, familiar individual, but you see as another one chooses to speak. They're a taller individual, standing in roughly about 8 feet, 7 feet tall. Humanoid looking, but a fearbog. As you see this individual begin to try to speak through the likes of the mark, relay this message. Oh boy. And they say this to you in response, Zaman.
Have you met any others like us with markings? If so, how many numbers and your exact locations? We would like to see if travel to your location is possible.
And what divine?
Right. That being said, you see as I begin to converse and asking whether you've seen other individuals bearing these marks, if there were others, and asking for your location to connect and meet up. You also see as another individual begins to speak in the likes of the mark as well, joining them. Oh wait, damn it, their mark is, or their image is messed up. I'll drag their token instead, because that's their correct art. This individual off to the side. You see as they begin to speak and add into the sort of message, asking you, Zaman, what divine gave this message of a war between the Akuyama and the Teniyama. What do you say, and what do you all do in response as they ask for these 3 things?
Zaman, hearing Hannibal's lecture and then also seeing Agni's caution, would look up to them and say, how do you think we should proceed? I don't know if given our, first off, I don't even know if we know what our exact location is, but what should we communicate? We know, at least based on the visions, there are at least 4 groups. I don't know if they all have marks as us, but I know at least 4, at least 3 other people bear the same mark as I've tried to communicate with them. But what do you think we should say as he's talking to Agni and Hannibal in particular? Was I on mute or?
No.
Oh,
Hannibal.
you bring up a good point. We don't even know our exact location. I mean, we might not even be in the correct place of Jaded Dragon Valley, for all we very well know. Any type of information we give might not even be useful if they're about to be attacked like we're about to be attacked. I don't think there's really much we can give because we know very little.
I think we tell them exactly that. That we we have very little information because we're essentially as lost as they are.
But perhaps they might not be as lost as we are. If they're asking for a location, maybe they have a way of tracking and knowing a location. Until we get some form of transport or even get our feet on the ground, I don't think we have any business going to see anyone else.
I would agree with you, Agni. I think there are way too many questions, way too many unknown variables for us to travel. It's too many dangers that we don't know of. So, I think I will, because they likely, if I know, they probably already know about the other groups. So I will communicate that. I think I can communicate that the god that gave me the information, I don't see any harm in that either. But I agree. We should ask for if they have their exact location, because we have no idea where exactly we are. We just know general area. Sounds good.
Works for me. Hannibal?
See no issues with it.
And as they say that, Zaman prepares to speak into his palm. And he says, who am I speaking to? I'm used to talking with Zell, but this is fine. For I guess the last question you asked, the information I received came from Yana. I am not familiar with this goddess, but that is who provided me with this information. As far as the groups, I believe there are at least 2 other groups besides ourselves with people who potentially bear marks. Now, if my assumption is correct, I believe each group has one that has this red triangle for communication. At least. I don't know if anybody else bears similar marks as we do. And for your final question, our location. We have no idea exactly where we're at. We just know that we're in the Jaded Dragon Valley. If you have a way that we can figure out maybe coordinates or a way to track coordinates or something along those lines to figure out where we are in comparison to where you are, then maybe we can discuss meeting up.
That said, as the message is laid and said, you see as it begins to slowly flicker and then eventually fade back to the palm of Zaman's head. Or not head, but hand. The mark is now tattooed on Zaman's warforged head.
Came out of his eye, actually.
Ah, I see. Yeah, it makes sense. That said, as this all occurs, Cora, what would you like to do?
Am I on mute?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. So after looking at all the people pop out of Zamad's head, eyeball, hand, it would remind her that the tag that she saw on the robot, and Zamad, that she did actually remember seeing something in Elvish, so she would relay that message to him. And then she would go to Mao and tell him that the person that he was been looking for. What happened?
So are you saying to me, or what are you saying? What did it say?
She would just say it looks like a location or something. But she doesn't know.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Not know exactly where it's at, but she knows that it's like a map or a location of something.
You'll see Zaman's eyes widen and say, "Look, why would a?" And then he would say, "Cora, do you think, since that was a warforged and it has a location on its neck, could that have been where it was created?"
Is that where you two were created? Maybe?
Zaman would look at Mao and then just look and then he would point to the cat and that's it.
Cora would leave that alone and go to Mao. And then tell Mao about the person that that he hears. About the person that he hears in his head or her head, and referring to Leica, and that he remembers that he heard that she heard that before.
Wait. This is all confusing. So, let me get this straight. So, there's visions and things being displayed here that show of other people's and all this other stuff that shows to where Lika's hanging around and with, and you're able to hear her specifically in your head.
She would nod.
Oh, what did you do to even, how did you even do that? And why her specifically? That doesn't, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, sorry.
She said that she would say that she's been trying to figure it out for quite some time, but with everything being like new, especially now her being in touch with Irois and hearing about the video from the past and now these voices in her head, like she just doesn't know exactly what's going on. But she does remember hearing her voice, but because she's never heard her voice in the video, it's kind of hard to match it. But by the name, she definitely knows the name, and she knows where she is.
But, Core, I have a question. Do you have any, like Azor and some of the others, do you have any memory problems?
She would not. Not as a yes.
Yeah, this is a long shot, but is it possible that maybe you and... Well, that doesn't make much sense. I'm just sort of thinking, trying to wrap my brain around this. Is it possible that you knew Lika before? Have you ever been to... Well, I don't even know how she got there, but have you ever been to the taiga? If you remember?
Doesn't remember, but she does know that where she is.
Gosh. So, question. Sorry for all of them. Is she the only? Do you hear a lot of voices in your head? Is she the only one? Or is it maybe a mess?
She would say that she knows that Leica is with someone by the name Anth, if that makes any sense. But she that name also.
Cora, roll a d20.
D20.
One moment, please. Alright. No. Maybe. And then you... Oh. Okay. Alright, you can continue as you were, but, some of you check your DMs.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what happened. It's hilarious.
Alright, there you go. That said, while this is sort of happening, you'll see as Mao just nod and then continue off. And he'll thank Zaman again, but I think that we should probably, if we can, you think that we can get a bit of rest beforehand, all this, or we probably won't? Do you think we won't be able to afford it?
Cora's definitely taking a long rest.
Zaman will say, I think we should.
You see Azor snore.
I think we should all try to get some rest.
Gore was already after yelling that loud. Gore was already laying down with a smile on his face, feeling himself knocked.
Oh, that said, if everybody is sleeping, is anybody taking watch or nah?
Agni will watch first. Agni will be up with the first watch.
I will. I'll take first watch. Otherwise, I will not go to sleep.
Cora will take first watch too.
So, all right. So I got Agni, I got Addy Dark, and then who else is taking first?
Cora would take first.
Cora's
She don't
taking
need to
first.
sleep too long.
All right. So those three. All right. As you guys begin to, as you guys begin to take your watch, everybody else resting. You three can make your perception checks, and besides that, is there anything you guys say or do during the likes of your watch?
21.
Nice.
You could let me know if this would be at disadvantage, but while everyone's sleeping and anyone with Cora, Agni would do what he normally does and make sure everyone's weapons in like tip-top shape, just in general. So he would like take Azura's blade, Cora's weapon, just to make sure that they're in good conditions during this rest.
If they weren't, would you like sharpen them or anything like that?
Technically, that's what he would be doing, just making sure that they are in the best conditions possible. Just in general, that's what Agni has always done.
If that's the case, then yeah, probably just it may take you a little bit, as some of them have dulled over. So yeah, make it with disadvantage.
Okay.
I think you did mine already though. If that makes a difference.
Oh yeah, but you've gotten into fights. General, that's what Agni would do.
Yeah.
At least for the people he knows, he's not going to take like Hannibal's weapon because he doesn't know him as well, or Trog's or anything like that.
Yeah.
Disadvantage is not alt, it's control.
Control. Yep. And then Addy Dark, make sure to make your perception check when you get the chance. 12's not bad. Not bad.
Forge is messing up for me all of a sudden, but I don't want you to roll because you always just give me bad rolls. Is there any way I can get any of these guys to roll for me?
I can't touch the player character sheet, bro. I'm cursed.
He said, "Don't touch my dice. Don't touch my
You
dice."
always give me bad rolls.
I want you to know, AOV, I'm gonna roll afterwards, no matter what you roll, and if I roll higher,
it's over for you.
I was gonna elect someone in the group to roll for me. I'll have to roll the most human person I know. That'll definitely have to be Zaman. I say the one with the most humanity in the group.
Yeah, Warforged, I see.
Really appreciated.
Of course.
You know.
All right, Zaman, roll a d20, and I swear if I fucking roll higher than you, it's over. You better roll a 20.
Good. Let the tank get all the hate. I'm okay with this.
This is hilarious. What's the roll?
16. All right. That's a pretty hard roll to beat. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I mean, hey. That's a 2. You're damn right. That's right, buddy. The curse is still there. Let's go. I can't touch a dice. I'll never roll above a 5. I'll tell you that much.
That's comedy.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I got a dice curse. I can never touch a player character sheet. It's over if I do. That said, all right. So, 16 plus your perception for a total or 18. Yeah. It seems to be that the watch goes by uneventful. Is there anything else you guys are doing throughout the watch or not?
Cora would me about the location that he saw on the Robiths, and just say that she was Agni. I did see a location on neck. Was it on his neck?
Yeah, it was on their neck. It was like a tag kind of thing.
Yeah. And I don't know where it goes to or anything, but I did see the location on there.
We can discuss it and perhaps venture there once this fight is done.
And she would nod.
I think the only other thing Eddie Dark would do is I'd mention that the fire gods have blessed me. I would have moved at this point, but you know, my forge isn't really loaded. But yeah, I would say that I guess I would assume Cora and Agni, are we all like hanging out are we in the same area, or are you guys just kind of separate on that?
It's really up to you. You could just always walk over to them if you wanted to, and vice versa.
I assume we're all like, just kind of sitting around the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just say like the fire gods had blessed me with this mark, you know. My prayers have been answered. And I'd show it to Agni and Cora.
You'd see as the white mark upon Adidark's palm, it does seem to sort of shine brightly with a white light.
Be careful what you do with that mark, as I've found out. There can be repercussions, painful ones, for doing things that the mark doesn't like.
Ah, as if any flame grows too large, it will burn you. Understood.
It can do more than burn. That's for sure.
That's
An underused element of fire. It does have the power, purification at times.
Yes, that's why fire is so important to my clan. We purify the night.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Sensei.
There you go. I was waiting for you guys. That said, the rest of your watch goes by uneventful. Who takes the second watch?
Gore's got no problem waking up.
Alright, Gore wakes up. Who's taking second watch with Gore?
Zaman will still be powered down at this point. Getting powered down for 4 hours.
If no one else will, Hannibal will just wake up and take watch with you, Gore.
Okay.
So, both of you can make your perception checks and more. All right. And at that point, Gore, you doing, well, after that, Gore, you doing anything throughout the watch, or saying anything or doing anything?
Gore would have tried to he's not good with his hands, but while he's up, he'd be trying to make like a little bearskin coat, something to throw across his shoulders. He thinks it look fly. But he would also look to Hannah and be like, Gore thinks he's figuring out what you told him about. Phoenix blessed him when he was out in the fight. When me and Addie, we didn't even. And Gore would take a moment. Gore didn't even tell you what we encountered out there.
Did not. I sensed tension between you two. It was also mentioned by Addie Doc. What happened on the hunt exactly?
There was spiders. We've dealt with them before. But then Gore lost himself for a moment. Something took control of him. And I injured the furry one. I did the best I could to make him better. But Gore's only felt that way once before. Yeah. And Gore would kind of stare off a little bit.
Never heard
looking
of anything.
Slightly unsure of himself.
Never heard of anything of using yourself. Oh, there was that one order. Has he seen Addie Dark fight? He has not seen Addie Dark fight. There was an order before. One that focused on lycanthropy. I never being from it or learning of it. But I did know that a similar thing would occur. Them losing themselves potentially to the rage and the bloodlust. But you are not of that school, I assume.
Like Gore said before, you know, Observant One. Gore was a strong Oni.
Would be. I'm not one to really bank off of fables, but I can at least, observe them and lay them out for discussion. The Oni yokai are fearsome, destructive individuals capable of, an overwhelming sense of dread, fear, and wrath. Though I have never encountered one myself, and besides you, I truly hoped to never have to. The stories, they are omens of death, and all confusing, but I need not to die now. Hopefully, one is not sent after me, after the dealings of the dynasty, or with the dynasty.
And Gore would kind of stare off a little bit, and he'd be like, you don't need to worry, Observant One. We've already killed one of those fake Oni. The Blessed One made quick work of him. You should have seen him go.
You wait. You've killed one. What do you mean?
We crushed it. And Gore looks, and he's kind of got like a weird smile on his face. He was just a fake. Gore is a real Oni. Those terrible, what's the word he'd use? Profane creatures. They're nothing like the real thing. And Gore would kind of like fake flex.
I see.
After we did that, Gore crushed his first god. We have much to do.
I have seen Azora's strength, but do you mean to tell me I'm traveling and camping out with a couple of god slayers? Is that what I'm to believe?
Gore did the crushing. But we have definitely slayed a god already.
For some strange reason, I seriously doubt that.
He believes it with all his heart, too. He can't even make a deception check.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Gore believe that shit.
He believes it's the core of his soul. Oh, man.
I'd love for you to roll a check and see if you.
Yeah, I want to see the insight check of this. He's like, man, I think he's telling the truth.
I'll give him advantage for this shit. I think that kind of makes sense.
I think Gore's actually about that life. Damn.
Gore,
Gore might actually lose this.
Gore just looks you in the eyes, and Gore's so sincere. He's so sincere.
Gore, make a persuasion check. This is for Hannibal's sake to see exactly how convinced you are in this sort of thing.
It's gotta be an advantage. I have to say it has to be an advantage. It has to.
Alright, fine. I'll give you advantage. You know, role played the fuck out of this the entire campaign.
Every bone of his body, he believes this.
I would roll my D6.
Yo, I was about to give him inspiration for it the whole time. Go ahead.
I want to roll my D6. I want to roll my D6.
Go for it.
Oh, man.
Oh my God! He believes it.
Damn.
He believes it so.
Oh
my God! He believes it so.
That's Hannibal will look at you and he is unconvinced entirely. He's just staring at you, and then just.
I tried. It was worth it. I would have rolled that die any day of the week for it. I'm sorry. Gore,
all you need was a 4.
He'll just say as he begins to sip a bit of sort of tea and say, "Must have been a weak god then," and then just chuckles to himself, humoring you for the time.
It was just practice, observant one. You'll see. Oh man, Gore believes himself. I just can't. I can't go any other way but the belief.
Or to just you and your brigade towards
somebody would co-sign it. Somebody would co-sign it. I think I rolled the nat 20 when this shit happened. So.
That was ridiculous.
You'll see as Hannibal says, "And is this of your brigade against Heliod?" That's right.
That name. He tried to do this to Gore, make a fool of his people. But you can't make fools of anyone if you're dead. You're right, observant one. Gore knows exactly what you're good at. You see, he's here to crush that god. And he kind of grabs his things and kind of just like a little bit of lightning flecks through the sword, and he's like, "The blessings keep coming. That god will be crushed." And Gore kind of stares off into the whatchamacallit. He's feeling himself. He's
22
really
for his highest saving throw. You'll see as Hannibal begins to stop for a moment, and you'll see as he begins to almost shake visibly. You'll see as his form will begin to slowly course with an astral light before he's able to sort of shrug it off for a moment.
Oh
One
my
moment,
God.
please.
Oh my God. Life.
7, not bad. You'll see as he begins to sort of stand there, or just not stand there, but sit there and wishing a god. Some strange reason. Been having these visions once more since all of your arrival. At first I was on a ship, the likes of several powerful individuals. staring out at destiny itself. But this time, it seems to be that I stand with a bunch of individuals also on the ship, fighting the wrath of a storm deity, killing them, leading armies and more. This battle. Don't understand how and why I'm seeing these things. It feels as if I lived them.
Gore would look and be like, is that what's to come? Or have you already done that, observant one? Because he would look slightly confused. He'd be slightly confused.
I have no recollection of it, but it feels as if I have already done it. I've seen it. But why would I kill my own god? I'm unsure if that is me, someone else. But we'll make a history check. Yeah, he's unsure.
Oh yeah, he's whiffing on that one. He'd be like, is your god still alive, or did someone kill him?
Worship only 2 individuals. Tashi, then Susano. But I don't think, as he begins to mention Atashi, now that I think of it, when I looked at through the vision, I wielded 2 swords. I have never in my life decided to do so. Foolish decision. Not be able to wield the blade properly. But Itachi, in the stories and legends, he wielded them. Well, he wielded 2 blades. I'm a powerful warrior capable of making it work. These be the memories of his? I do not know. Probably just from being tired, these visions keep recurring. I am unsure.
You need to rest like the Quick One does, Observant One. The Quick One had the same problems. And quite frankly, if your god is giving you a blessing, and Gore would kind of like slightly blood right, and like kind of almost like cut his hand again. Make the best of it.
You're right. I'll have to ponder about it later now. My connections to this deity. Let's focus on path ahead. Towards the sky. Steal his resolve. Continue with the rest of the watch. That said, final watch. Who takes it?
At this point, Zaman would awaken because he had his 4 hours.
Easy enough. You power back on. Zzz, and you're ready for action. You can take your long rest. Ilva said they'll take the watch. They got you guys. Oh man.
One of my favorite lines in voting, Ilva is no bottom bitch.
Oh my god. Jesus. Alright, Zaman, are you taking the... Actually, I guess Philo would probably wake up at this point. Zaman, you probably waking up before him. You see he's just kind of laughing. And make a perception check.
22.
Also, you, I believe... Well, I don't know. Yeah, Kane, you get a D6 inspiration from Ilva.
Word.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But Zaman, you hear the likes of Philo kind of muttering and laughing to himself, and he just sort of finishes off as like, yes, I'll hopefully be able to find them soon. But, we will converse later. And you'll see as he begins to awaken and sort of unembed himself from the ground and then look out towards you. Ah, young Zaman. Hello.
How are you doing, Philo?
I am fine. Well, I am well after, and I am more than fine after conversing with the likes of my colony.
Ah, is this like similar to what I do with my palm, or is it a different form of communication?
Not exactly. Us myconids, when we rest, as you can see, we'll look kind of down towards his feet. We embed ourselves into the soil, connecting us, well, to the ground below. We do so, we converse with all the plant life, but also converse back to, well, our colony, whoever we sort of, I guess in your, well, were born or created, I guess in your case.
You see Zaman's eyes widen, and he looks to Philo and says, Philo, how far does this communication reach?
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really have a reach or a limit. Once you are branded, well, not branded, that's sort of, that has some negative connotation. Once you are part of a colony, once it has left your mark, or once it's left its mark on you, then until you assume association with another, you are bound to it.
So, no matter where you are, you always know where your colony is at and how to communicate with them, correct?
Well, not knowing where they are, but I assume it hasn't picked up all the mushrooms and left. But I am able to converse with them. That is a simple thing that myconid can do. We are very, very social people.
I see. That is quite interesting. Philo, you seem to be at one with nature, like I am at one with, I guess, metal and minerals.
Seems to be so.
How do you have such control of everything? Because I'm having difficulty controlling my powers.
Oh. It's kind of hard to put it into words. Do you want the answer you want to hear? The one that's more direct and to the point? Or do you want an answer that you can aspire for?
You know I am always one to go for the gusto, so aspiration it is.
Well, personally, do a bit of meditation and more, and kind of sort of rely on, well, what I have. I am a mushroom folk, and I embed myself into the ground. I speak to the plants, I speak to the animals and water, and I just sit and watch, observe as they sort of live their life and go about things. And I simply try to sort of mimic it in the simplicities of, well, woodcraft. And you'll see as he begins to slowly grow bits of grass in front of you, kind of below his feet and around. Now, though I simply mimic it, I instead, after a bit of time and watching for a while, try to accelerate it if I can. And you will see as the blades of grass begin to immediately grow in size to about 15, or not 15 feet, but 5 feet tall around him. Between the bits of elemental nature, with the likes of the clouds above, I simply do the same. It will all eventually happen. I just try to will it forward. Make it happen now.
Philo.
Hmm?
That was quite interesting what you did there. Are you able to make anything grow that rapidly?
Oh, I'll look at his stuff. One moment. Alright. I'm able to do a couple of things. I've done it before when Agni lost their cool a while ago with the forest. And I spread a couple of spores and whatnot across that forest to prevent it from burning more. But, besides that, I've been working on a trick. I don't necessarily know how useful it is, but, I've learned or gained the ability to at least make people see what I want them to see. To form hallucinations through the uses of spores and hallucinogens. This spanning probably the entirety of this camp is what I could do, but I don't think you would want everyone in. I don't think that would be a time for now. Maybe later if you're into that, but anywho, I digress. But what was I talking about again?
You have a lot of interesting abilities, Philo. Is there a cure to your hallucinating gas? Boss?
Time.
Like, if we were, let's say, to make an antidote that we as a group could take, and you were to release this hallucinogen upon our enemies, what would happen?
Well, I could make them really see whatever I want. It could be a simple swamp, a hill, maybe even a giant mountain. But it is all illusory, so they could choose to try to refute it and go through it. And they would see the illusion for what it is, but again, it's just hallucinogens. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what a bit of perspective can do? I am unsure, however, of how to make a cure for it besides not breathing it in, though.
You see Zaman's mind is like racing, and he's gonna say, maybe. I think I have an idea, but I don't think we're gonna be able to use it for what is coming. But we will discuss more again. Now, what you did with growing those plants, if we were able to find, I don't know, seeds of some kind, something that everyone else could eat, would you be able to make that grow in a similar manner?
Which is a smart idea. I can certainly try. You and your experiments, you and Mao. You make me chuckle. But it is worth a shot.
Zaman would say, this could save us a significant amount of time. Instead of hunting, we may have another source of food. And he's just like, he's just making, I guess, mental notes of all the things he just saw Philo do. And then he's going to say, Philo, are you good at crafting, like making, I don't know, natural materials? We need containers and I guess bags to be able to transport water and other goods. We made this cart earlier, but we need something to contain liquids and other items.
Not necessarily. I typically leave that to Mao. I could leave a basket, maybe. That's all I can think of.
Copy. He would suggest that we do that.
Thank you, Carney Sideshow, for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Raiders. How goes it?
Trying to make bags and I guess jugs. Or baskets and jugs.
1 second. There we go. All right. That being said, you will see Philo, well, again, he mentioned that he can certainly try, but he's not really good at it. It's not really his thing. Better off kind of asking Mao.
Okay. Or could he help Zaman?
He can try to give you assistance to make some bags.
Okay.
That said, if you're going to try to do that, Zaman, make a survival check and then also make a perception check with disadvantage as you are crafting throughout this watch.
So disadvantage.
13. Alrighty. That said, and then make your survival check. As you begin to grab the likes of your materials, gather your resources around, pull them forth, and try to craft the likes of a bag. Now, you having to use a bit of the leather from before, but as you begin to do so, you see as Philo begins to kind of combine the bits of druidic magic to sort of help out in any way, shape he can. But with a 17, is that the final roll?
I will add the D4 inspiration.
Oh,
18.
18. All right. Twin likes an 18.
Oh, actually, sorry. One more. I forgot. I got my Oracle's thing back from that short rest earlier. So.
Yeah. That'll probably be useful. Ugh.
19.
19. Oh man.
Just one of those days.
So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is you're able to craft the rucksack, and you're able to grab, or actually, I'm going to actually add a backpack to your inventory now, as you're able to make it. The bad news is, between the likes of Philo and you kind of having to sort of work together, you're kind of unsure necessarily of how to sort of document the process, and you're not able to quote unquote learn the recipe of crafting bags and more like that. So the DC is still going to be or remain 20 until you're able to sort of pass that threshold, and then afterwards it'll be reduced. So for right now, you're good to go, but something to look towards later. But Zaman and Philo, as you two are kind of conversing, crafting the likes of these bags, eventually the rest of everyone else awakens. As you all do, you look up and are greeted by a starry-filled sky filled with the Aurora Borealis above. That said, what do you all say, and what do you all do? Come on, I'll add the thing to your inventory.
Copy.
How have you covered the
Sean, if you're saying anything, you are muted, my friend.
Yeah, I was muted. If we wanted to do anything with like the material lists that you gave us, would we be able to do anything, or is that like take an entire session to build?
Are you asking like if you want to do any like sort of last minute preparations, can you guys do that?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that anytime. As long as you're at your base, you can start building preparation or doing preparations, building any structures that you want and more to prepare for the upcoming war.
Okay. You're saying, Kane?
No, never mind. I fixed it. But so we were. Oh well, go ahead, Agni. You could go with the war room and all that.
I mean, mine. I don't know like how long this would take, but it's like if we were to make like construct a war room right now, would that do anything?
Oh,
for us?
for whenever it would actually be done now. So it has
Yeah,
the
that's
sort of time it would take. So it wouldn't be done like right this second, this session, but it would probably be done by next session.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we know out of game that would do.
Yeah, it would. So the choice is yours on whether you want to make that, but you guys can converse as a group and pretty much figure out and decide at that. Or you can just not build any preparations. You can wing it like Rhyme, like Ducky said.
Nope.
I mean, we got the materials. You guys want to put more walls around the entire camp then? Since
So
we have the materials?
for the sky shot, do we know about that?
Farmer didn't mention it to you guys specifically. He sent that to the likes of who did he send that to? I believe Rhyme, right? Yeah, he sent that to Rhyme.
Copy.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is put some, just I guess surround the entire outskirts with walls.
Were you able to bring when we brought back the wagon in the boat, like having all that, like were you able to make any storage with that, or does that not count for storage anytime?
It does. Like you have it there. It's just not added to your resources and stuff until you spend the initial resources they have. Because you still have 15 out of 15 materials. You can't carry more than that at the moment. But once you start spending them, then it'll be added to your total thing.
Are we able to use the war room during the war? I don't know if you can or not.
The war room, if you don't know, is basically it's to prepare for a war. In the sense of you're discussing tactics, you are assigning like, okay, these are where we're going to place our troops, these are where we're going to lead our armies, and all that sort of stuff. You know the typical sort of general room with like the little miniatures on the map. That's basically what a war room is. So using the war room in the middle of a war ain't really the most effective thing, but yeah.
I was sure like somebody could be calling shots from the war room type thing, but
you're not at that point. we ain't got that technology yet, where you can have like Commander Agni like on a telecom or some shit.
You know where I was going with that.
We ain't there yet.
Yeah, I would just suggest storage.
All right.
So
I mean, more walls make sense.
yeah, I was gonna say we should put more walls.
Yeah, could we just cover the entire like outside of like the camp then with walls?
Yep. If you want, you can mark down over with the oh wait, can you guys yeah, you guys can use the template little maker, not template maker, what is it called, the thing where you can use the grid tool, that's what it's called. You basically mark out where you want the walls themselves. You guys have the information for what number of or how many walls that you get and all that stuff. It's in the in-game constant chat. Place it down, and then by next session, once you expend all the resources, you will have those walls ready for defense. If you want to do this now during the session, you can. If you want to wait till like after the session and get it done like throughout the week, that's also a thing that you can do.
Yeah,
the choice is yours.
We'll get it to you in the morning.
Enough. But Hannibal will mention one thing while everybody's sort of waking and preparing themselves for the battle. We'll see as the Leonin samurai begins to step up and then mention something. Everyone, gather forth for a second. Only a moment. So, you guys can all drag your tokens and more to the center of the camp. You will see as Agni, as you kind of awaken, you see and notice as the cat begins to just sort of climb itself onto the likes of your shell for some strange reason.
That's new.
That said, as Hannibal begins to speak and mention, now, I will be honest with you. We have to we'll keep things straight. But I'm gonna look up towards the sky. I've battled things like this before,
I'm sure we all know at least the basics of what they are capable of. Capable of erasing memories on death. Making you forget who loved ones and more are. In my time when this was once activated, and he'll point to the palm of his hand where the red triangle resides. We did a thing before. We would gather around and write out what the others, or what others would try to use to remember them for. Specifically, things that they would want them to carry out on the worst happening. You'll see as Hannibal begins to pull out a sort of trinket, seems to be a small little necklace that he sort of has in his pocket. Whether it be things or goals that we need the others to accomplish in their life and our potential death, it still should be noted. Any important information that you wish not to be forgotten should be written down and stored somewhere. And afterwards, once the fight is over, looked at just in case. Though I believe our fight will be victorious, I wish that we suffer no casualties. Precaution still should be in play. Whether
If
you
you've done this before,
Go ahead.
could you lead us? What would you like to be remembered for? Or do we not discuss it? It's a private matter until we lose someone.
It doesn't necessarily matter whether it's private, this is completely up to you. I recommend writing it down, for I remember not of what my companion said, but I at least have the text to know what they would have wanted. Some of them, for example, one of the goals was to lay a companion's ashes in the blood forest of Jaded Dragon Valley, in the north, for example. Another one was to research the likes of elemental transmutation through hemocraft, and to look towards Azora. As you begin to recall, when you were having your clash, your fight between one another, you remember him wielding the likes of fire and then transforming it to the likes of lightning within a blink of an eye. Well, if I was to be forgotten, I simply wish that you get Mao and Philo to their locations. For Philo, you get them to their home. Mao, preferably if you can. Though I know their region is not here. At least try. Help them on their way to get reconnected with their daughter. For myself, though it is optional, but I'd be very grateful. This dynasty, they're led by a tyrant that shouldn't be. And honestly, we'd be better off without Voden. I'd prefer if you would be able to lead that. Lead their downfall in any way, shape, or form you could. This would not necessarily just benefit me, but many, not dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of others across Voden. That is all I wish for. Said.
Does he already got the thing out to like write on it or something?
Yeah, he probably would have asked Mao
for a bit of sort of like paper and whatnot, and just taking a bit of ink and then just sort of writing it down on a piece of paper and then pass it to the next person.
I think Gore would kind of like fly over and grab it at Azura and be like,
one day you'll remember, Quick One. You said you would help me do one thing.
and Gore just writes down Crush and probably just looking, it's as bad as you imagine.
Probably takes up the entire paper.
Exactly. However you imagine Gore writing Crush over, it's just like that. And
Gore's lived long enough. He's going to do it, but if not,
and he looks Zora like dead in the eye.
Crush that god for.
And he actually passes to Zora.
Azora, half the fucking paper is taken, but it does have a back.
She passes it to Agni. She says, "Give me a moment to think."
Understood. Agni wants to, while he's sort of thinking about what he's going to write down, he wants to make sure he tells the group, while they're all thinking and writing in general. Our enemy seems to come to attack us. He looks up at the sky and at his hand. Sometime soon. We don't fully know what we're going to see, but regaining some of my recent memories, it seems like we've been in situations like this before. Seems like we've fought many things, probably a bit more prepared than we are today. But I don't think this will be the last of any of us here. I don't want to allow that thought to pop into my head. All of us seem to be capable fighters, and I think the enemy's probably underestimating not only us, but everyone else that it seems to be a target of. I want to make sure each and every one of you, we're going to come out of this victorious. Addie, I want to make sure you know, fight with the spirits of the wild. In our last combat, your use of your hands seemed to be way more effective than the original bat you used. Korra, your inner strength, they'll probably guide all of us. Make sure you keep that in your head in the heat of battle. Azura, your cool demeanor is something that we all need, and it'll see us through as this fight pushes on. Zaman, your curiosity and outside-the-box thinking is going to be a key in terms of winning this upcoming fight. Gore, I don't think there's much I need to say to you. Crush. We all keep these things in our head. We'll make it out of this. Because next time, we're the ones that are going to be attacking. I don't like sitting, waiting for an enemy to assault me from any different way. This is the last time we will be this At this point, Agni kind of takes out his weapon, and he's going to look around at everyone, sort of a little bit noticing the work that he's done with the weapons overnight, and just kind of looking at everyone as he takes a look up at the sky. If we do happen to forget this moment, I'm sure some of us will never forget some of these memories, as we seem to have something recording us at all times. And he kind of looks at the cat, he looks back and he says that he's going to start to write a little bit on the paper. But as he writes, he doesn't actually write anything. He just kind of draws a line, fully confident that he'll see this to the end of next day. And he's going to pass the paper to Cora.
As you do so. Also, Agni, take a DM's inspiration, my man. That is a reroll.
Appreciate it.
As said, the mark is passed, or the page is passed to Cora. What do you put upon it?
Looks at it. He like smiles and then writes Cowabunga and then just to Addy.
Oh my god. Easy enough.
She continues practicing. Like, this is to her. This she ain't shook at all. This is like
Addy pulls out the little bag of sand from his pouch, and he looks at it, takes just a small speck of it, and singes it onto the paper, looks at the team and says, "Fire's only betrayed me once. The vampires burned down my village. These ashes, you must remember. These are my people."
Happen. You'll see Addy Dark as Mao, the ringtail red panda, begins to ask for the paper. Oh, you know my thing. You're connected with all of these marks, Zaman, and for whatever reason, you all end up meeting up, and I'm not there. Simply tell Lika that I love her. Simple as that.
Zaman will say, "Mao, you will not die during this fight. I will do everything I can to protect you, to ensure that you eventually reunite with your daughter."
He'll nod and then pass the paper along to the next individual.
Zaman will take it.
If I may, young Mao, did you want to go?
Oh, you can go first, Philo. It's perfectly fine.
Well, my journey is, as you all know, it's already coming to an end. But it was a fun one. It does not end tomorrow, I assure you. But in the case of it doing, I'll look around at each and every single one of you, and he is going to write something in secret. But he'll look toward, you'll see as he takes a bit of time, but he looks towards all of you, and then you see as he looks up, looks down, writes a little bit before. This will be something. And we'll pass it. Probably to the likes of Trog and then to Zaman. I am with Hannibal, was it? Those people, that dynasty, rule like that, civilization like that, it's no way to live. This is a small camp, but from what I've seen in the little hours I've been here, it's a good camp. A camp that could be turned into a town like theirs. If I could ask for anything, just be better than them. Just be better. and then he'll pass it over to Zaman.
As Zaman gets the paper, he starts thinking about his past, his original mission, and his sister, who he at this point hasn't seen in a cool minute. And he will say, most of you who have known me know that I lost my fate. Some may even know how. All I ask is that you pass this message on to my sister. Along with, he'll pull out his watch that he always keeps on him, that he hasn't pulled out in a long time. Along with this, and just tell her that though I tried, she does not bear the burden to carry on this mission. That I want her to live her life not shackled to the decisions I've made, and to be free to live as she sees fit. And then he'll write that on the paper along with her name and his name, and he will pass it to Hannibal.
You already, Hannibal already did it. He was the first one. The only one missing is the likes of Azora.
He'll pass it to Azora.
Yeah, Zora takes it and she looks over at the group and she thinks about what Agni says, and she just jots something down and then folds up the paper and hands it back to Hannibal. And she stands up and she says, let's make sure we see each other tomorrow, when this is all over.
Right. Well, after the war, after the battle, paper is burned as a signal of our victory. That said, we'll see as he'll begin to look up towards the sky, begin to unsheath his sword, readying himself. We have last bit of moments. If there's anything else you need to do, now is the time. Not that, then defer to Agni, as we should probably start assuming positions.
Yes, the barrier will not hold for much longer.
That said, alright. If anybody wants to do anything, now's the time. If not, move your characters to your positions for where we will start next session.
Zaman, after learning the spike growth smell, he would suggest to potentially Philo, if he is able. He's not sure if he's able to do something similar, but potentially using that on the side that Zaman is not on to impede the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can we hit the long rest button?
Yeah, you guys could have done that already.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Didn't. No, okay.
Yeah, you guys are good. Yeah, as soon as you guys all woke up, yeah, you guys are fine.
I mean, I would have been there with no spell slots. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Got the kaboo-boo, that's all you need.
That's all I need.
Oh man.
And then he would just suggest that they would, I guess, assuming, I don't know how much warning they will have, but he would try to like suggest that it be set up like right before the battle starts. But if that's not possible, they'll just do it during the battle.
Write it down for notes, and to basically as a reminder, remind Philo right before the war.
Copy.
That said, I believe, Agni, you'll have to correct me on this. You wanted Mal, Hannibal, and Philo in the tower?
Oh, I guess a little bit of a technical question.
Yes.
When Mao is controlling the turrets, does he like need to be within range? Does it like, how does that work? I'm
gonna check, but I know one thing. He is completely incapacitated. He He can't really speak or function. He is like all of his
I
brain
would
power
want
is
him
focused
to-
on
yeah.
controlling it.
I would want him in the tower, definitely up there, along with probably Hannibal and Mao somewhere sort of like on the ground, like where they're at.
Okay.
Being able to support both groups, but also predominantly watching like the flank.
Alrighty, easy enough. Philo.
How tall is the watchtower?
The
Like how
watchtower
if someone
itself.
has to get up and down it, like what does that take?
Let me check 1 second. Matt has all the schematics for it with the sky shot. Like this dude went crazy with it. I will get that to you in just a moment.
Yeah, because that's a big deal. If it takes like 2 or 3 actions to get up and down that.
Nah, it's not that bad. It's 30 to 60 feet tall, so granted, you can take all of your sort of movement to get up there, and you'd be there.
Is it possible, like, is the top exposed, like the 60 foot up?
Yeah.
Because I basically want to put Mao in safe spot.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna send you guys the perfect thing known as the sky shot. And in fact, if you guys want to make some sky shots, you are available to do so. But also for chat, here you guys go. This was made by Farmer, another player of Secrets in the Sands.
So I know there's like a bottom and a top. Is like the bottom enclosed? Like, can Mao hypothetically wait inside?
At the bottom, nah, there's nowhere. I mean, granted, sure, there's kind of like walls, but he'd probably be best, as Agni is saying, like at the top of the tower, kind of, and the little hut-looking thing.
Yeah, I just didn't want that to be like exposed to like someone like from far away could just pick him off with an arrow. I just wanted him to like.
Nah, like he's a small enough individual, he can like sort of sit down and be fine.
Then yeah, I'd probably have him in there with I mean Grog can probably shoot from up there or maybe operate it and easily get down if needed. He sounded like. With Hannibal and Philo on the ground, I'm assuming. Anyone thoughts?
Enough. You want Hannibal to be here, or do you want like you can basically ping exactly where you want them to be, and they'll do it.
I think it was best to have him on the ground, like sort of watching our back and being able to support.
I'd say Hannibal like kind of over here closer to us just in case. And then y'all have Mao.
You guys get that guy. Okay.
Yeah, y'all have Mao and the Trog dude and Philo helping y'all with like range. So y'all have 3 NPCs. We have 1. I mean, y'all want the 4th too? Y'all want him too?
I'm just saying. You also wait. So are turrets still here? Because I never seen them.
We're about to place the turrets in a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking having Hannibal in the middle to flank between probably the 2 groups and to kind of watch this moat area. Because if enemies get trapped in there, we're gonna have to come over and deal with them.
I think with Trog, he can also look out and easily see because he'll be elevated to see the back side.
It's also true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Trog and I think have Philo focus on y'all area with you. Have Trog and Hannibal kind of like.
No, see, Mao is gonna be focused on the turret, and we have a turret helping us. You have a turret helping us, and then we have like the supporting one here.
Right. What I'm saying is have Philo dedicated to your side.
Oh, Philo. Okay, I thought you said Mao.
Yeah.
My bad.
Have Philo dedicated to your side. Have Trog like going back and forth, kind of like the overall lookout and sniping people from the tower, along with Hannibal as well. As like if he sees like one side needs more help or another side needs more help, he's going to be going between the 2. But his main thing is to protect the people in the tower.
Gotta love the tower defense.
Okay, so you want Philo though also in the tower? You think?
He should be able to cast his spells from the top, I think.
I think so. Also, Sensei, if me and Zaman are both right here, are we within shouting distance, like 20 feet?
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something that happens where it prevents communication, then yeah, you guys should be fine.
Okay. Gore, is that where you want to stand?
So wait, so we're putting all the NPCs into the tower?
Nah,
Yeah,
so
it's up to
Mao
the
is in the tower because he's incapacitated. Trog is going to be on the very, very top, able because he's the fastest to be able to climb up and down. Philo's not on the tower; he's just right beside it. He wouldn't be able to even fit in the tower, anyways.
Yeah, and Hannibal's kind of watching our 6 and being able to support both sides if needed.
All right. So
It's an open discussion. What are your thoughts?
Let's just hope we don't got face no river crawlers, bro, because that river is looking like easy pickings.
Well, we're going to be putting walls, and we have Hannibal to basically let us know, Hannibal and Trog, if someone's coming from behind us.
Yeah, we're
It's
getting
a
walls.
moat,
We're getting
so
walls.
it's a trench. How deep is the trench?
The trench is about 10 feet deep, or not 10 feet deep, 15 feet deep. So granted,
So,
someone
like-
can try to jump over if they were really, really athletic, but they don't want to be caught in that.
Yeah, so like it's not like it's gonna be difficult to come from that backside, and we'll have time to react if somebody is coming from that way.
That's the
Did I
plan.
ever- Did I ever tell you the tale?
We
Did I
could
ever tell you
build
the
a
tale?
wall
of the-
along the border of the moat, like inwards, like towards us.
Yeah, that will make for some additional defense. That makes sense. But we can talk about that, the wall stuff, after.
Is everyone good with their position then? Where's
Yeah,
Gorn?
I'm good. Yeah, I was wondering where Gore was at.
He goes over here.
Oh. Okay. Is that where you want to start, Gore?
You know, you should.
This son is so unconfident.
Zaman would suggest that Azora and Gore kind
Because
of
there is
back
going to
up
be
a little bit.
yeah, there is going to be the flamethrower that's like right there.
And Zaman is also going to have his spike growth in this area, so you don't want to be in the spike growth. So like he's pretty much setting it up where they're taking damage until they get to this like mouth, and y'all can pretty much flank them from each side.
All right.
Is there any problem with me starting in the tree? Does anybody got any problems with me starting in a tree? That's all I gotta ask.
I don't think so. But
The only thing only issue it could be like if you roll low, and then everyone just like runs by you.
Then I flank them, bro. Then I flank them.
Okay.
Azura would suggest maybe putting the cat, the cat fear alarm jigger thingy, like somewhere like over here. So if they do get past, perhaps we could activate that, and then maybe that could distract them. Turn like so they look that way.
Mal hasn't been able to like finish the entire thing or whatever.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Why does it show you injured, Zaman?
What you say?
Why does it show you injured for me?
No, he's uninjured.
Oh, okay. It's just my shit.
Yeah, you're fine. All right. That said, if that is the case, then all right. Mao has 3 types of turrets. He has the flamethrower, he has the ballista, and he has the guardian, which is basically a healing turret, or one that gives you temp HP. Where would you like the temp HP turret, or the guardian one?
It was supposed to be, we were supposed to remove this tent, and it's supposed to be like, basically you're right there in between us.
So you want to remove this tent for next session? All right, gotcha.
Yes, please.
I'll write that down. Remove tent, and then guardian turret. All right, we'll make that text smaller so I can get that. Boom, and boom. We're just gonna also draw a circle right here. All right, dope. That said, where would you like the flamethrower turret?
That's that way facing to the west.
That way facing.
Or did you want it back one square? That square is good there, Goop?
It was 15 feet it shot out, right?
I believe it was a 15-foot cone.
Yeah, 50-foot cone.
What was the logic of putting it on that side versus the other side?
Well, we're gonna have a different turret. They have the AOE because I'll probably have a decent amount of like fire AOE for us.
All right.
So that way they get some type of AOE.
Okay.
Copy, and I'm gonna paste this. And we're going to, all right. This is going to be the flamethrower turret. Boom. All right, and the final turret, where would you like that to be?
That was the one that was going to be on top, kind of like where Philo is, facing to the west, up here. So.
All right, so kind of like right here. So we're gonna so kind of like right here. I'm gonna place that there.
Could you remind us what the range of that one is as well?
Sure thing. Just one moment. Just
I just want to make sure with the vertical distance it can still be able to shoot.
Yeah. So features, they're gonna find Eldritch Cannon. It is the Force Ballista. It has a range of yeah, it has 120 feet.
Okay, so it's good being up there,
yeah,
to overlook the battlefield. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. That said, if that is the final defenses, I don't think there's anything else, NPC wise or anything like that. I'm not missing anything. Yep. All right. If that is the case, you guys all gather yourselves. Or actually, where'd you want the cat? Just for reference, did you still want it in the tent, or did you just want it in like the place with Mao?
He'll put it up in the place with Mao.
All right, easy enough.
After he kind of gives it a pet, thanking him for helping to return his memories. Now realizing it's not an actual cat. I'm going to put it up there with Mao.
It does hurt, as it is a literal cactus, but a robot cactus. That's a long story. Regardless, as you all begin to look out and prepare your souls, weapons drawn, getting ready to conjure spells, you look out towards the lights of the sky, and the Aurora Borealis begins to pulse once more. You watch as the shadowy sphere begins to drop. As you wait for the corruption and the astral invaders begin to find your location and seek to destroy and consume all. We'll have to figure out what all of that will be and how the battle will fare for episode 12, The Valley of Dream. That said, thank you all for playing and all that stuff. Cowabunga it is. We'll have to pick this back up next week. It's gonna be a wild, wild session. It's time for nothing but action.
It's gonna be a wild week.
It's gonna be a wild week. Yeah, that's true.
Definitely about to be a wild week. I watch
So
all
wild,
the campaigns.
wild 2 weeks probably.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be something. I wish
Oh,
all
you're
of you...
ready.
I'm not. I am, but I'm not. I wish all of you the best of luck for that one. May the dice be in your favor, because I've seen it a couple times. The dice be trying to tell stories and not the good ones.
And we couldn't be any more prepared than we are right now.
The dice would try. You think this is a Avengers Endgame? The dice would turn this into Braveheart real quick.
Real quick. Real quick. The dice want what the dice want.
Hey man,
That's
it is what
it.
it is. The
All
manga
right.
piece.
I'll see you guys in a moment, and I'm gonna break down stream. Be right back, guys.
Copy.
All right, let me switch on over to overlay. That being said, thank you everybody for deciding to watch. The war is approaching. Hope you guys enjoyed all of yourselves. If you guys want to check out the all the sort of next sessions and stuff like that, it's going to be for Soulbound. We're going to be picking up the war arc this Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, as it's going to be featuring the likes of the Ascent. I hope they're all ready, and I hope they're ready to run for their lives, prepare a boat, and sail out, as it's going to take all of their defenses and more. So again, that's going to be Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to follow the stream if you enjoyed yourself. Make sure to follow on all the socials and the YouTube channel to get caught up on any of the previous sessions and more, and also to bring your D&D games to the next level on the YouTube channel. We're actually really close to hitting 400 subs. That's the goal for the semester, so go sub to that. It would make the world, or mean the world to me. We're gonna see if there's anybody on Twitch that we can raid real quick. If not, then we'll just call it there. But we're gonna see if the Nat 30s are online, because they're typically the people that we raid into. Yep, the Nat 30s are online. So we're gonna go right into them. Thank you guys again for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!